Hey Don, how's it going? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Charlie.
Oh, perfect. I'm out. Okay, I'm out at my kid's game, so I'm trying to zoom from the soccer field.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear someone's out at a game.
Yeah, it's the first time. That's why I couldn't miss it. So I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm on. I'm gonna put you back on mute. Thank you.
Hi, John.
Hello, Don. Having dinner, I see. I just got done.
Hi, Don. This is Shauna.
Hi, Shauna.
Hey there. Have I become a co-host? Have you?
You're at least a panelist. Hold on.
Because I think I'll need to
Yeah.
co-host.
There you go.
There we go. Beautiful. Thank you.
Hello, Shauna.
Hey, John. How are you, my friend?
Real good.
Good.
Fix that background behind you. Look at it.
Yes, I can see it. A little bit.
Okay. Let's get warmed up here. You didn't change your clothes, Leslie.
Nobody
Neither
else
did-
knows that.
Neither did John.
Whoops, what did I get?
Hanging out.
Hey, Don. Hey, Leslie. Shauna.
Welcome, Sean.
Hi, guys.
Hello?
Oh,
All right, Sean, you're in the water board room. I thought you'd be doing this from home. Okay. Sean.
Nice to see you, Shauna.
Hi, Mary. Nice to be back.
Good. Hi, Jill.
Hi, all. How are you?
Hey, Jill.
Good.
Hope my internet stays through this one.
Uh-oh.
at the library you got, Cesar.
The calendar in the back.
Yeah, looks like
Oh,
you have
your
a library there
library.
too, no?
Oh, just some of the books that I read way long time ago.
Nice.
That's an Aztec calendar.
I can
Back.
tell. Azteca.
Mexica.
Chilangos.
Chilango, yeah. No, actually, I'm Kickapoo. my great grandparents are from Zaragoza, Coahuila, which is used to be the center of the Kickapoo Nation.
What part is
Hey,
that?
folks,
Coahuila?
I'd like to call the meeting, the regular city council meeting of Tuesday, April 20th, 2021, city council of the city of San Juan Bautista to order. It is 6 p.m. Thank you very much. Welcome all. This meeting will be conducted pursuant to the provisions of the governor's executive order N2920. In order to minimize the spread of COVID-19 virus, the city council is conducting this meeting by Zoom conference and will be offering alternative options for public participation. You are encouraged to watch the meeting live on Zoom or Facebook. Please follow the governor's order and the CDC guidelines regarding prevention or preventative measures and do your part to help flatten the curve and prevent further spread of COVID-19. In compliance with American Disabilities Act and the governor's order N2920, the city will make reasonable arrangements to ensure accessibility to this meeting. If you need special assistance to participate in any meeting, please contact the deputy city clerk a minimum of 48 hours prior to the meeting at 831-623-4661. Public comment will be open prior to council taking action on any items on the agenda. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Okay. Pledge of Allegiance. Councilmember Freeman, can you please start us off on the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, thank you. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to
Allegiance to the flag
Flag,
the United States of
of the
America,
United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands,
stands
one
nation,
nation under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. City Clerk, may I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Edge,
Here,
Councilmember Flores,
Here.
Councilmember Friels, Councilmember Freeman,
here.
Mayor Jordan.
Here.
We have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Is our city attorney here?
She asked me to let her in, but I don't see her name in the attendee panel.
Just a phone number.
I know.
Is that her maybe?
WLC, there she is.
Yes.
Okay,
There she is.
Okay,
Okay.
just in time.
City Attorney Deborah Mall, can
On
you please
cue.
take us out of our closed session meeting?
Yes, the city council went into closed session at 5 o'clock. One matter was heard, conference with legal counsel. Direction was given to legal counsel, and the meeting concluded at 5:25, and I have nothing else.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Okay, public comment on items not on the agenda, but within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons desiring to address the council on matters not on this agenda. The law does not permit council action or extended discussion on any item not on the agenda, except under special circumstances. If the council action is requested, the council may place the matter on future agendas. Do we have any public comment on items not on the agenda?
If you would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand or dial *9 now. We have David W. joining us.
Welcome, David. Go ahead.
Please unmute yourself, David. David, are you able to unmute yourself?
There we go. I'll start with the usual question. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Thank you. I didn't realize I was using my incognito name. My real name is David Wheatley, and I will fix that. Thank you very much for the opportunity to meet with you. This is my first time here, and you're probably wondering what I'm calling about. The topic is land use and rezoning. And I've hooked up with an organization called California Cities for Local Control. It was organized by someone who I will call a maverick councilman, although maybe he might not like that. He's an elected council member with the city of Torrance, and his city council people have been particularly concerned about bills coming from Sacramento, which tie the hands of his particular city as far as zoning goes. And these bills walk right into single family neighborhoods and allow developers and big time investors from around the world to buy up these properties, and in some cases to demolish them and put up multi-units right next to other single family homes where people have resided for generations. So I'm here today to request that this council agendize the possibility, hopefully the likelihood, of passing a resolution to send to Mike that he can add to his growing stack, which says that we, meaning your particular city, support local control of land use, and that we think the people in Sacramento should work on other things other than this, and that land use decisions are best made by the people closest to the actual land. Yeah, it's conceivable that a multi-unit, that if these laws pass, SB 9 and 10 in particular, that a neighborhood of, let's say, a block or two with 20 homes on them, one of them right in the middle could all of a sudden find themselves right next to a construction site with 3, 4, 9, or 10 units going in right next to them, multi-story, and not have had any idea. The developers can just go to the city planning counter, turn over some papers and a check, and then they go ahead. So I hope that from the expressions on your faces, I know I don't know you well enough to actually talk like this, but I think from the expressions on your faces that you think this is a bad idea, the same way we do. So hopefully it will be okay with you. I'll go ahead and send a proposed resolution to the email address deputy city clerk @ and so on, and maybe it could be distributed around for consideration for the next meeting, debated and hopefully passed, so we can add you to our growing stack of really smart people. So thank you for letting me speak to you tonight.
Thank you very much, David. Do we have any other comments? Can you please unmute yourself?
If you'd like to make a public comment, please dial *9 or raise your hand. There are no other public comments at this time.
Thank you very much. Consent items, all matters listed under the consent agenda may be enacted by one motion, authorizing action indicated for those items so designated. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless requested by a member of the city council, a staff member, or a citizen. Do we have any public comment on the consent items?
If you'd like to make a public comment, please raise your hand or dial *9 now. We have no public comments.
Thank you very much. Closing public comments. Comment from the council, Councilmember Edge.
No comment.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Flores.
No comment.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels.
No comment.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Freeman.
No comments.
Thank you very much. I will now entertain a motion.
So
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Councilmember Edge, Councilmember Freeman. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Edge,
yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Friels,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
That motion passes with a 5-0.
Thank you very much. Presentations, informal items, and reports. We'll take public comment on any of the items?
If you would like to make a public comment on any of the presentation items, please raise your hand or dial *9 now. We have no public comment at this time.
Thank you very much. Proclamations for Water Awareness Month, May 2021. Proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week, May 2nd through the 8th, 2021. And proclamation for National Public Works Week, May 16th through the 22nd, 2021. I would like to now read these proclamations. Water Awareness Month, May 2021. Whereas California's arid and semi-arid climate, its ambitious and evolving economy, its continually growing population, and climate change have combined to make shortages and conflicting demands the norm. And whereas the health, welfare, and quality of life for our community depends on a reliable, high-quality water supply, and whereas California has enacted legislation to promote sustainable groundwater management practices, whereas water softeners contribute significant amounts of salt to the wastewater and degrade our water supply and result in wastewater quality that exceeds regulatory limits and hampers our recycled water efforts. Whereas the Water Resource of San Benito County urges everyone in urban areas to demolish their water softeners to receive a $300 rebate. Whereas the fact that California will experience periodic droughts, whereas efficient use of water is critical, not only during drought periods, but at all times. Whereas the state, counties, cities, and concerned citizens make strong effort to foster wise decisions concerning water issues and water use. And whereas during May 2021, the city of San Juan Bautista is inviting everyone to find out ways to save water both at work and at home. Now, therefore, the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista does hereby proclaim May 2021 as Water Awareness Month and urge all citizens, businesses, industries, institutions, and public agencies to review their water use and water systems for water use efficiency and to contact the Water Resource Association of San Benito County for water saving ideas and assistance. And I believe Sean Novak is here to accept this.
Yes, I am. Thank you. I'd like to say too, I'd just like to let everybody know too that, we've had 2 years of about half of our normal rainfall and snowfall for the state. Our imported water is going to be a smaller amount than we normally get this year. Fortunately, our groundwater basin's in good shape, but we have to keep it that way. And the reason we start Water Awareness Month and we have it in May is because you can just watch water use when things start warming up, people start irrigating more. It's like a bell curve. You start seeing it just start to peak out in July and August, around then. So I'd really like everybody in the community, if they could call my agency. We have a free service. We can come out and check their irrigation system, because that's where most of your water is going to be going in the summer. And we can make sure it's running efficiently, program your irrigation controller, review, make sure that the nozzles aren't spraying on the sidewalks or on the fences or on the driveways, things like that, and just tune it up for you. So it's a free service. You can call us at 637-4378. That's the Water Resources Association in San Benito County. We can come out, look at it, help you out, make sure you're using water efficiently. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean. Any comment from the council?
Sure, I just like to add that everyone who needs that service should use it. It works out really well for the consumer, and like Sean said, it's free of charge.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you, everybody.
Proclamation for Municipal Clerks Week, May 2nd through the 8th, 2021. Whereas the Office of Municipal Clerk, a time-honored and vital part of local government, exists throughout the world. And whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants. And whereas the Office of the Municipal Clerk provides the professional link between the citizens, the local governing body, and agencies of government at other levels. And whereas municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality, rendering equal service to all. Whereas the municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community. Whereas municipal clerks continually strive to improve the administration of the affair of the office of the municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. Whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the municipal clerk. Now, therefore, I, Leslie Q. Jordan, Mayor of the City of San Juan Bautista, do recognize the week of May 2nd through May 8th, 2021 as Municipal Clerk Week, and further extend appreciation to our City Clerk, Shauna Friels, and Deputy City Clerk, Trish Pates, and to all municipal clerks for their vital service they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent. Thank you, Shauna. Thank you, Trish. Do we have any comments from the council?
No, but thank you, Shauna, and thank you, Trish, for all the work you do.
Yes, thank you to both of them.
You do a critical part, very critical.
Yes, very much appreciated. Thank you all. Proclamation for National Public Works Week, May 16th through the 22nd of 2021. Whereas the public works infrastructure, facilities, and services are of vital importance to sustainable communities and to the health, safety, and well-being of the people of this community. And whereas such facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees from the state and local government and the private sector who are responsible for and must plan, design, build, operate, and maintain the transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential to serve our citizens. And whereas in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in California to gain knowledge of and maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas this year marks the 61st annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association. Now, therefore, I, Leslie Jordan, Mayor of the City of San Juan Bautista, do hereby proclaim the week of May 16th through the 22nd, 2021 as National Public Works Week. And I urge all of our residents to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agencies in activities and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they have made to our national health, safety, welfare, and quality of life. Shout out to Nick, Paul, Armando, Gil, Minnow, Carlos, and Galvan for all their tireless efforts to help maintain our city. Thanks to our city manager and our engineers as well. Comments from the council?
No, I'd just like to echo what you just said. All of the public works people have been really, really helpful to me, and they've always been there for me. So yeah, they work very hard. I have a question. On the date that I have, it says 2020 instead of 2021. Will somebody correct that?
Sorry, yes, we'll correct that.
On the official one, it's 21.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
Yep. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, report by Jill Pagaran of the San Juan Committee. Hi, Jill, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor Jordan, and also City Council. I'd like to thank you for your continuing support. My name is Jill Pagren. I am president of the San Juan Committee, DBA, San Juan Community Business Association. And through your support, we're able to perform this nonprofit benefit for our community, and our goal and our mission statement is to promote San Juan Bautista. So I'd like to give an overview of what we have accomplished over the last year, and also our current projects that we're working on now, because we've had kind of a glitch with COVID, just like everybody else. But we started out last year running an ABC Channel 7 Bay Area 30-second spot 64 times. So we did 64 commercials at the beginning of the year. We also printed 5,000 calendar of events that, went by way of COVID. We reprinted our original brochures in a quantity of 5,000. We did a website renewal, a maintenance, and security updates on the San Juan Bautista CA.com website. We published a AAA Via magazine ad with 997 postcard responses. So people actually circled the number and mailed it in and wanted information about San Juan. So I thought that was something. We also did a feature article in Monterey Bay. We joined the Central Coast Tourism Council through membership, and also did 3 listings in the original road trip map. Our listings are under activities, taste, and services. And so we have San Juan listed 3 times there. We did a postcard for the Rotary Run that they do in January every year with discounts to local merchants, because that's quite a big event, hoping to capture some return business from their runners. Social media and Instagram, we have the San Juan Bautista, California tourism is focused directly on tourism. We do weekly postings. The San Juan Community Bulletin does about 5 postings a week. A Taste of San Juan Bautista, is hospitality, and that's done daily. In addition to that, we do paid promotions for further outreach. Depending on what the event is or what's happening, or if the mission's opening masses again, we put some money behind that so it has further outreach and we can target audiences. Our welcome center was streamlined so it would be self-served. It was hindered by the bakery being closed for quite a significant amount of time. In late May, we did a promotion called Open for Business, San Juan Open for Business, where we ran 60 commercials on ABC Channel 7 in the Bay Area and 58 at KSBW in San Juan and Salinas. We did 3 large banners to go to the entrance of our town and 1 out on 156. We had 3 pop-ups. 2, one was Meet the Candidates. One was a face mask giveaway with our logo on it so that people had access to face masks with San Juan Bautista logos. And we also did Thanks for Shopping Small, where we gave local visitors a pin, a lapel pin, and a postcard about San Juan Bautista. As far as economic development, Bob Quaid is a member of the board of directors for EDC. So, and Bob and I both are member representatives of the Economic Development Partners that include the Business Council, the Chamber of Commerce, HDA, and EDC. So we have also been meeting with and aiding prospective business startups, and we represent San Juan Bautista at the Pinnacles Gateway Partners. And that is the gateway, Pinnacles Gateway Partners, to promote visitation to all the gateways surrounding the Pinnacles. Our current projects that we're working on now, and we're hoping to roll these out whenever we can open San Juan all the way up. But we've contracted for 8 hours of filming where we are now developing talking points as we wait for holiday decor to come down. We can't spend the money on filming that we want to use over the next couple of years if it's all decorated for Christmas or a specific holiday. So once we come to a neutral point, we can do that filming and then roll out some more commercial time. We also have banners that are able to go out on the 156 again. We renewed our CCTC membership, and this month coming up, San Juan Bautista will be featured in their newsletter that goes out to all the members of Central Coast Tourism and all their partners community. So that's a worthwhile endeavor. It's the whole thing, the historic trail, the walking trail, our downtown shopping, our hospitality. In addition, we have added some keywords to our website. So that'll build a stronger search engine optimization. We have 2 blogs coming out that will help create the content for that argument, to augment, not an argument, the SEO, because we need to expand our search and it can't just be the words we're using now. We need to incorporate some other things. So that's what we've been working on. So any questions?
Wow, amazing. Do we have any comments from the public?
If you'd like to comment on this item, please raise your hand or dial *9 now. Madam Mayor, we have no public. Oh, maybe it looks like we just got one. Fran Fitzharris, we're going to have you join us. Please unmute yourself.
Welcome, Fran.
I just wanted to add that if it wasn't for Jill and how much she inspired me and what a mentor she's been, I would never have joined the San Juan committee and had the opportunity to do all the things that I've been able to do. Just, you know, a couple of things to add is we've also been, our committee has also been a host, an ambassador, and a recruiter of festivals like the Poppy Jasper Film Festival, which unfortunately had to go virtual this year, but they have full intention of coming back to San Juan and actually doing screenings. And so I wanted to also mention that we do a lot of that. And we also have our own San Juan Bautista Hospitality Committee, which is all the food and beverage businesses. And we all work together to continue to advertise and really shout out more about how things have really changed for food and beverage in San Juan Bautista. And so I just wanted to add those. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fran. Do we have anybody else? No. Thank you. Questions, comments, concerns from the council? Councilmember Edge.
Well, I don't have any well, I do have kind of a question, but Jill, thank you so much. Thank you to all of you, all that you do. You guys work really hard. I do have a question. How are you doing with your budget with all this advertising that you're doing? Are you guys okay?
Right now, at this point, our contract, the money that we have in reserve pays for our filming contract and our upcoming expenses. But we also have, we haven't billed the city yet. So look out, it's coming.
That's okay. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Vice Mayor Flores.
All I have to say is you guys are doing a damn good job because we're all over. San Juan Bautista is, you know, we hear from all over the place. So
Yeah.
you're getting out
Thank
there. The
you.
word's getting out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels.
I'm impressed on how much work you've done in a COVID year.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what you can do next year when it's normal. So thank you very much.
Councilmember Freeman.
Yes, yesterday I was talking to a friend who lives in Santa Cruz, and she told me that on Sunday, she and her partner went hiking in the Pinnacles. And then she came back and they went through San Juan and had a great lunch and things. And she complimented the entire city on how great it worked and looked and everything. So I just thought I'd pass that along to Jill and to everybody else. It was I thought it was a great compliment. I told her, you know, that the San Juan committee worked really hard on keeping everything up, and going during this rough time. And she knew that because she's involved in the city of Santa Cruz too. So, but she really liked what we were doing and she liked our restaurants. So that's really good. Good feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much to the whole entire group. The promoting San Juan Bautista, absolutely amazing. All of the work that you have done and continue to do to move this city along and to bring folks in. Thank you very much. Thanks. We appreciate
thank
you. Okay, presentation by the city lead library technician, Rochelle Egan, of the fiscal year 2020 California State Library Report. Rochelle?
Thank you, Mayor Jordan and council members. Dawn, can I please share my screen?
Yes, of course. I'm sorry, Rochelle. I'm almost there. Enjoying. There you are.
Hopefully not enjoying the Mariners losing.
Of course I was. But no, I only got it on my watch. So Rochelle, thank you for presenting your annual report tonight. This is the second year we've done this. And again, I think you'll be impressed by how much we've accomplished during the COVID times and what our plans are for moving forward. So go ahead, Rochelle.
All right. So to expand beyond our four walls because we didn't have room. Some of that meant, oops, it's not clicking for me. There we go. So we've added Hoopla and Flipster so that people can join digitally when they aren't able to come into the library. And then we've also distributed face coverings and other activities to the community through our little free libraries. And through the Monterey Bay Area Cooperative Library System, which is a organization we subscribe to every year for $750. We're able to bring in 21 items for our patrons through interlibrary loans, and that included the Tortilla Curtain by T.C. Boyle and several individual titles that we normally would not purchase. Just things that are a little too much one way or the other. Try to stay a little bit more in the middle. We also partnered with the Historical Society to track down Hal Bone, who did the artwork you see here on our new library cards. So we were running out of the small keychain version last year, and this year I upgraded to get kind of that credit card size as well as a small keychain piece so that each person would get two pieces and they could use it as a family, with each person having their own or a shared card. We also had some interesting new programs for adults. Dee Dee continues to volunteer, and she's had wanted to do a program on mushrooms at some point. So I said, let's do it. And on February 28th, our last large event was held at the library. We had about 30 people there, I believe it was. And Somanos Organics, which is here in San Juan Bautista, brought mushrooms for us to take home, which was kind of exciting. And got to see how they work. So the California State Library requires that we do this statistics each year. And you can see this goes back to 2016 up to the most recent with through June 2020. And this helps us get into programs that are free for rural libraries and also opens up grant opportunities when they see that we have a need for something like that. We had a lot more calls for meeting spaces for small to large groups. And I do have a meeting room in the back that will hold comfortably 6 to 10 people. We had, gosh, close to 25 people when a homeowners association wanted to meet. They don't normally get that large of a crowd. And had we known that that many people were coming, we would have hosted them in the main library. And then we're seeing less requests for outdated material such as VHS and CDs. And that's why we donated all of our VHS tapes a year and a half ago. And we're focusing more on DVDs and then occasionally a Blu-ray, because some people do have the Blu-ray technology, and I try to focus that on like action films or things that really benefit from a better quality disc. And then our changing priorities were to keep the building available to our vulnerable residents. I often told them, it's your building, you pay the taxes, you need to come in, you're welcome to. So we saw about 10 to 20 patrons a week, kind of depending. At the beginning, back in late March, early April, it was a lot of people wanting to access their EDD benefits or check on their stimulus monies. And so they would make appointments, and then parents would make appointments for their students so they could come access books. I waived all the fines for late returns and allowed unlimited checkouts. So there's a student that will come in about once a month to check out 50 to 75 books. And the reason before that he could only check out 4 books at a time. So he would have to come every day, and they really wanted to stay as remote as possible. And so that allowed them to just come in once a month, and they always returned them, and I never had a problem. And then we did the take home activity kits. So you can see back in October, I had these purple tiered hours where it was reflective of my schedule, because as the only staff member at the time, I often would cap out on how many hours I could work by Thursday. So I would put, just available by appointment on Friday. And once we went into the total shutdown in, I think it was December, I then made it Thursdays and Fridays were by appointment only, and did the Monday, Wednesday sort of thing. So for the take-home activity kits, this is often what our main table looks like. There's a lot of supplies everywhere that we then bag them up, put a little instruction card, both in English and Spanish. We also only host the Halloween party these days. And so we totally revamped that. That happened after the end of the fiscal year, but I'm including it because I'm hoping we don't have to do it again this year by creating these little boxes of treats that so many people in the community, I should say business community, helped contribute towards. So that is my presentation. This is a bit larger graphic of the last 5 years in case anybody had any questions. I assumed that would be the slide to go to. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment?
If you would like to make a public comment on this item, please raise your hand or dial *9 now. Madam Mayor, we have no public comments on this item.
Thank you very much. Council member comments, Council member Edge. Can you please unmute yourself?
Sorry about that. So thank you for the presentation, Rochelle. But the schedule that you showed, it shows October's hours. That's before we shut down. What are your hours currently?
What is posted there, which is 11 to 4, Wednesday through Saturday.
So you've gone back to what we had in October.
A slightly revised version. Back in October, I was running it solo. Now Delia is back, and we've just hired a third employee, Renee, and she'll be starting this Saturday.
But the hours are
11 to 4, Wednesday through Saturday.
Okay, all right. So you're closed Monday, Tuesday.
And Sunday, correct. Because I work at City Hall on Tuesdays.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Flores.
Excellent job, Rochelle. I don't have my library card yet, so I need to get one. I got one for Hollister, San Diego County.
Oh.
It's as a child, the library was very critical in my life and getting me where I am, because I used to lose myself in books.
Mhm.
You know, that was my out, and I really treasure the library. You're doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Thank you. We're kindred spirits. I read a lot of books as a child.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Friels.
Thank you. Thank you for keeping the ship afloat through this whole mess. And thanks for helping out with the PIO stuff also. We appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing the library, up and running full time. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Freeman.
Thank you, Rochelle, for keeping the library up to snuff and running great. Like everyone said, through this hard time. I did get one of your new library cards. They look great and they work great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Rochelle. Thank you for that presentation. Everybody get out there, get your library cards, get into the library, go back to the library, read on.
Yes, please.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Treasurer's report and monthly financial statements by the city treasurer, Michelle Sabathia. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, good evening. How's everyone doing?
Good, good.
Thank you. So good evening, Mayor and council members. I have a brief overview about the financials. It should be pretty quick today. So I'll jump into the general fund now. Year to date, our net effect is still currently a positive balance of 55,000. Month over month, we did see a decrease of 43K. So some of the smaller things to point out or items to point out would be that in prior months, sales similar to prior months, sorry about that, our sales tax and property tax continues to still do better than expected. So that's still a bonus. On the expenditure side, warrant listings went out, so nothing out of the ordinary. One of the items that I wanted to point out though is that the first payment went out for capital costs associated with 3rd Street. So that's something to point out. We did discuss this in a prior meeting. For our water enterprise fund, year to date, our net effect is currently a positive balance still of 323,000. Month over month change, we did see an increase of 25,000, so that's good. And the increase was predominantly related to higher water usage, and water and sewer go hand in hand. So you'll see that the sewer is also, we had an increase month over month. So for the sewer net, year to date, our net effect is still currently a positive balance of 187,000. And as I mentioned, we saw a month over month change of 25K, so an increase there as well. And that's on the revenue side, not the expenditure. So this is good. And the expenditure, and as for the expenditures, they're trending slightly lower this month, which is still good. I think some of that has to do because we haven't received some of the invoices from some of our vendors. So we will see potentially an uptick next month. So just wanted to call that out as an FYI. But that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michelle. Do we have any public comment?
If you'd like to make a public comment, please raise your hand or dial *9 now. Madam Mayor, we have no public comments on this item.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments, concerns from the council? Councilmember Edge.
I don't have any questions, but just a compliment. Michelle, you do such a great job, and thank you so much for what you're doing for us.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Flores.
No comments. Thank you very much, Michelle.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels.
I just want to say thank you, Michelle, and thanks for keeping it easy for this dumb old fireman. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember Freeman.
Thank you, Michelle, for another great job. Look forward to keeping it up. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle. I don't know too many people that can smile through numbers, and you continuously do that.
Thank you. I love
it. Thanks for everything you do, and thanks for bringing that bright sunshiny face in here with numbers. Holy moly. Thank you. City Manager's report. Take it away, City Manager.
Mayor, members of the City Council. I was still writing this report this afternoon. I apologize. We did send the slides out in advance, so just a few things I want to touch bases on. It was the tragic accident that happened this past weekend. I don't think we could go through our council meeting without our hearts going out to the folks involved and the families involved. But it brought focus to the matter of the San Juan Hollister Road and traffic issues there. I had written 3 weeks ago to one of the residents who's lived there since 2020 and said, well, I guess the economy is getting better because San Juan Hollister Road is a problem again. And apparently, as we are aware, the GIS systems will direct the public to avoid the highway when it's busy. So they're not helping us in that matter. So just wanted to assure the council in the past, actually 2 or 3 weeks, I've been trying to get with Caltrans, CHP, and COG. And especially now, I do have responses I've been sharing with the council from Caltrans about that whole issue with the intersection at 156 and then the traffic on San Juan Hollister Road. One thing that occurred to me just today, so the real easy one is to put our speed sign out there, see if it has any effect or see if it gets run over. I'm not sure. But basically, it's an issue. So what I'm saying is that it gets back to one of our first strategic goals is to be partnerships in this effort and work to finish that right turn lane that Caltrans is reviewing right now, and we hope we get permits for soon. I know the developer at the gas station is ready to roll with that. We had a conversation today in that regard, so that project, the gas station, is moving forward. And then we did reference in our strategic plan the creation of a public safety committee, and that traffic enforcement would be a priority for that committee when we pull it together. So the mayor and I were talking about that today as well. We are reopening our facility slowly, as we heard from the library. Public city council meetings hopefully will begin in July. Note that our family has scheduled a vacation for the 3rd week in July, so I don't know if they'll be on a regular meeting or special meeting, but I'm sure we'll be meeting. City Hall will reopen in June. We have the lobby there protected with actually real glass to help protect staff and folks when they come in and pay their water bills in particular. That's most of our public use of the City Hall. We did hire part-time staff, Renee Jacobs, to help with the library reopening, and occasionally when they're available to help with our filing and clerical work in the office. So that's a great accomplishment. We had some great candidates, about 10 candidates. It's publicly advertised, so it's quite competitive. And recruitment closed for the Director of Community Development, Assistant City Manager, Monday, the 19th, yesterday. I'm told that we have yielded 7 good applicants. They were trying to get 2 more to apply and see if they came in today. And so I'll be coming forward with a process for the council to consider, much as we did for city manager, where we would create a screen out the top 3 or 4 candidates and then have a community panel. And I was thinking of some of our retired commissioners, if you will, in our community. And then also have perhaps a subcommittee appointed by the mayor from the council and planning commission, HRB. So that way it's a very public process, and everyone can come to agreement and help support the new person who's hired. So I look forward to that being successful and moving forward real soon. Water is a top priority, but it's a challenge trying to balance everything out. I'll just tell you, there's a lot of planning stuff going on every day, every week. So I have spent 10 to 20 hours on the budget to get it ready on time. That's really important. We have to have our budget approved in mid-June. So right now we have, with the CPA and I, have reviewed the revenues and expenses, and we're ready for department feedback. And in fact, I believe those are distributed today to Nick and to Rochelle and to Trish for review of their specific areas. I can assure you that our goal is to attach the strategic plan directly to the budget so that we're funding those items that are in the budget. Water is important, community development is important. Our general fund is healthy, is in really good shape. It's all, ever since the new treasurer started, our general fund has been really healthy. Michelle is great. And we're going to start working more closely together on these things so that she understands the budget process in particular the CIP. The capital improvement program gets a little bit complicated. The Third Street project had 7 different funding sources. So learning how we track that is not something they do so much in the private sector as we do in the public sector. We have our little silos of money that we can use. So I believe with this new budget coming forward, we'll be able to restore the office assistant position. Former city clerk Laura Sent left in December 2019. And there's a ton of work that we just, special projects and research and things we need to get started on again with the office assistant. So that's a shared cost. Of course, water and wastewater help pay for that. But I think we'll have sufficient funding to support that position again, which would be great. So also reviewing a cost of living increase for staff. Inflation is quite low, and we'll look at other cities to see if how our classification and pay schedule rates, our maintenance workers, for example, how they compare to other maintenance workers. So we'll look at the cost of living increases and bring that forward as part of the budget as an option for the city council to consider. And oh yeah, by the way, my contract expires June 30th. So I hope you guys have been thinking hard about that. So I just want to throw that out there. Okay, all right, moving forward. Here's our calendar. So today we're seeking department input and finalizing our CIP. On May 13th, we'll publish the draft budget for May 18 introduction. So that means, as the mayor suggested, we have a special meeting every month on one topic. So was hoping that we could go to the Planning Commission for approval of the CIP June 1st, and then have a town hall budget meeting June 8th. That would give staff a week to put it together for council adoption. And my wife tells me we're going backpacking June 16th. So that's my incentive to get you the budget on time. I don't want my wife to go backpacking without me. So there you have it. New business. There's AB 939 and new recycling laws and composting and food waste laws. My email has just been bombarded by I want to say hundreds at least emails about training and getting ready for this and that. And so I reached out to Integrated Waste Management, and they'll be at our May meeting to bring us up to speed in all these new laws and let us know how we're doing as far as compliance and so forth. So we'll have a presentation next month from them specifically on solid waste. Later today, the city clerk will touch on various changes to the Brown Act and changes requiring local government to use translation services. These are 2 big procedural shifts, the largest change in the Brown Act in more than 20 years. We have on the housing front, we have been using the LEA, the local planning grant, LEAP, LEAP grant, to have Harrison Associates draft revisions to our accessory dwelling unit ordinance. The state had passed several laws, more than 10, in January 2020, and they require us to update our ADU ordinance. So that'll be coming forward to the Planning Commission the first week in May. The city attorney and I are reviewing it now. AMBAG is currently updating and getting ready for their fiscal year 2. I'll let Councilmember Freeman report on some of those details. One thing I'm doing is looking at some of the maps that AMBAG uses for its planning. And I wanted to expand. We have an opportunity area, of course, in our historic downtown, and I wanted to expand that out to Mission Vineyard Road to include San Juan Hollister Road, because we have a federal tax incentive called Opportunity Zone, and we have all of our industrial land is pretty much vacant. So I think that's an awesome opportunity area within our city limits that could be developed and needs to be focused. People like AMBAG can help us get grant money to promote and develop that. We have our historical resources annual report going to the HRB in May. It's a little bit late, but we'll get that done. That includes all of the training that the HRB has been through to stay on top of changing laws and so forth in historic preservation. And then I learned today that the county RMA is planning a ad hoc committee, and it's called the San Benito County Conservation Plan. And I definitely agree that San Juan Bautista wanted to be part of that plan, especially as we work with our urban growth boundary and think of the sphere of influence and the wildlife and open rangeland we have around our city. So that will speak to that. They'll meet quarterly. So that's going to be on the Planning Commission agenda for San Benito County next month. I just wanted you to be aware of it. I don't quite understand it yet. I just got the call today, but I thought I'll just throw that on there. Let's give you guys a heads up. Okay. I know this is a lot to digest, so I'm happy to go back through these slides. Just a real quick update on our parks projects. The Luck Park Master Plan, we've consolidated feedback over the last almost 6 to 8 months, and we're ready to bring it to the Planning Commission on the 4th of May. The Franklin Park design is on hold. I've spent some time with the community, and we want to meet one more time with the community. The plans are in 50% completion, but they were concerned. There's a special succulent garden that we need to weave into the plans and make sure that we haven't lost any other parts of the community's original design. So I apologize for that, and we're fixing it before we move forward. So we'll get it done. We'll get it done right. The Verity Park bathrooms should be out to bid in 2 to 3 weeks. We're working on the specifications now. We've been working on them for 2 weeks. So that project is moving forward, although it's hard to tell, I know, when you walk by, but it is moving forward. So in general, status reports are provided by the 7th of each month to the Council and Commission. Library Code Enforcement Committee liaison reports have greatly improved over the past couple months, and their timing has improved. We also get reports from police and fire. This month, we've focused on improving the planning report. So the key is making sure we're using the most of our software for tracking planning permits as well as building permits. So that way that software can generate the same report. The same report that we used to generate a year ago can be generated by our software if we use it right. So we've been focused on that to get better information out to the commissioners and the city council. And of course, these reports are always available for the public. It's all public information. And we've been waiting, I've been waiting personally for the community development director to restart up the Urban Growth Sphere of Influence Ad Hoc Committee. And I need to reach out to Mr. Sabathia. I owe him a meeting because he's probably wondering, hey, I signed up for this thing and we haven't met yet. So hope to get that rolling again in late May or June with the new community development director, assistant city manager coming on board. Repo. We have been focused, as I let the council know on last week, with well one. This is our best drinking water well, and these are the guys pulling the pump out. We incurred a lot of overtime a week ago when we discovered that we had tripped a switch out there, and we burned out the motor and the pump. So we worked diligently last week to get specifications together on an emergency basis, and we're working with Salinas Pump, and we confirmed today that we're going to have the well cleaned and cambered tomorrow. Make sure there's no cracks. Make sure it's in tip-top condition, and then hopefully a new pump will come in Wednesday, Thursday afternoon, and we'll be back online by Friday. So they plan on being here Thursday to install the pump, and hopefully we'll be back online on Friday. That's critical because we're relying on well 5 right now, and we need the backup. We need both pumps working all the time. The good news is it's insured. We have a $5,000 deductible, but probably facing a $25,000 expense. So it's really good to know that we were smart many years ago and bought this boiler insurance that's covering us at least for most of that cost. As I described in the past, we now have the camera footage from Green Line of the sewer laterals on Washington, and our city engineer and Nick and our public works group are looking forward to creating a plan to remove these laterals from each other and straighten out that mess. And then our standard operating procedure will include identifying problems like this throughout the town. If they're at that corner, they may be in several different places. So with that, that's a lot to cover, and I'm happy to answer community or council member questions on all this good stuff. So we're going to talk about water and COVID at the end of the meeting, so save those questions for then. All right, thank you very much, Mayor and City Council.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment?
If you would like to make a public comment, please use the raise your hand icon or dial *9 on your telephone keypad now. Madam Mayor, there are no public comments.
Thank you very much. Council comments? Councilmember Edge?
Yes, thank you for that report, Dawn. Will we be getting anything? Will you be emailing us this report in a little bit more detail?
Yes, what I'll do is I'll take these slides tomorrow morning and turn them into an article for the Village Voice. Hopefully I'm not too late. And then that'll summarize these same issues, and I'll share that with the city council.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Flores?
No special comments, but thank you so much, Don, for your report.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels?
No questions. Thanks, Don. Appreciate the report.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Freeman?
Thank you, Don, for the report. Sounds like we got a lot of work to do on well one, and let's hope it goes well at the end of the week. Thank you.
Thank you. When is Microvy coming out?
They were out, and we've had to reassess the power supply out there. We have a 100 watt panel, and they need more than that. So 100 amp panel, so we need more than that. So the city engineer and Microvy and I were looking at that last week, because that's an unforeseen stumbling block, having the right power supply for them. So we're trying to work through that now. So they've been out already, and we need to fix that so they can get it installed. So it's in the works, but we hit a hiccup.
Okay, cool. And then Veruti Park, we're going out to bid in 2 to 3 weeks. And then do we have a time frame?
It should be relatively fast. What we're bidding for is a pad and connection to utilities. We were able to find more than one firm that could design a prefab restroom almost identical to the one approved by the Planning Commission. So that means it's going to come on the back of a truck and be craned onto that pad, and it should be up and running sooner than later.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you
Do I
very
have an
much.
estimate? As soon as I have an estimate, I'll let you know, Mayor. Sorry.
Thank you very much. Thank you for this report. Good luck with well one. Reports from the city council representatives to regional organizations and committees. Councilmember Edge.
I don't have that much. COG, we went over our 156 4-lane expressway is on target. They're starting to work on the utility relocations, and they should break ground in the summer, late summer. And then the area agency on aging, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of goals and objectives. There's a master plan that they're working on, and it should be done for the year 2021, 2022. So that's basically all I have.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Flores.
Well, I attended some meetings. I attended a CMAP meeting. I attended another meeting dealing with the homeless service providers. And I attended a LAFCO meeting. And most special of all, I attended the opening of the elementary school with the mayor and our city manager. We were volunteers, so that we were asked to represent. So we were there representing opening the school, and it was fabulous.
Yeah.
Look on those kids coming into school.
Yeah.
And it was, and the parents, it was just a lot of energy, a lot of emotion going around. It was really wonderful. I really was proud to be there. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels.
I don't have anything. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Freeman.
Yes, AMBAG met last week, and there's a couple of new programs that will be affecting all of us in the future. The AMBAG is going to be kind of hosting what's called the Rural Energy Networks Program, and that's basically energy efficiency projects for cities, school districts, water districts, anything like that. As you may or may not know, on each and every PG&E bill, there's a public goods charge, which is very tiny and very small, but it adds up with all the people paying into it. And that money is coming to through the state PUC to AMBAG. It will be the third rural or regional energy network. The first two were in, first one was in LA County. And the second one was in the Bay Area, 7 counties in the Bay Area. So far it's been working well. Hopefully we can get some money to improve all kinds of things, street lights, lights in City Hall, fire departments, water pumps, anything that uses electricity and can have energy savings applied to it. AMBAG is also working on its traditional sustainable community strategy program. It's their overall planning program. It includes both land use planning and transportation planning. AMBAG will be having a workshop for San Bernardino County and for input, and it'll be on Wednesday, May 9th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. It'll be via Zoom. You people can email me or phone me for the link if you need it, and I'll email it out to you. Next, going back and further in time, we had an intergovernmental meeting. It was the most exciting intergovernmental meeting we've had in the last 3 years. We discussed many different items. It was really good to have newly elected personnel from the county. Thank you, B. Gonzalez and Colin Kosmicki. We discussed water regionalization, broadband, and even sidewalks on Buena Vista Avenue. So we'll be meeting later this month, or next month, excuse me, and it'll be climate action plans and tourism. And lastly, I was invited by Clausen Clower to go speak to the San Bernardino County Board of Realtors. And so I gave a Zoom talk about all the great things that are going on in San Juan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I attended the intergovernmental meeting also. It was a very long meeting. I'm glad it was my first. I didn't see it quite the same way John did. And the San Bernardino County Water Association, Sean Novak does a really good job with water awareness and using water wisely. He has lots of little videos, and newspaper articles, and again, the soft water unit removal for $300 is still out there for all of us San Juanians to use. Okay, action items. 5A, adoption of a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista declaring the condition of certain properties and ordering the abatement of weeds thereon, and noticing a hearing for the receipt of objections to the proposed abatement, SJB MC 5-6-100 to 200. City Manager?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Our acting fire chief is on the line, Charlie Badea, and he is here to talk about this program tonight. I don't have anything. It's the annual report that we do before we send the notices out to property owners. This is just specifically weed abatement, and we have not done a report in the past about just nuisance homes. And I'm trying to work with the code enforcement officer to get the council with status reports on the few nuisance homes properties that we have around the city. So this is just focusing on weed abatement. Charlie, did you want to share with the council the resolution?
Sure. Hi, this is Charlie Bedolla, your fire marshal / acting fire chief. Council members and Madam Mayor, thank you for having me on tonight. This is the first part of our annual weed abatement. So we're sending out the letters. We've identified the lots, and we'll be going out and sending out our letters for people to abate them on the empty lots. In addition to that, though, we'll also be cruising through the outskirts, patrolling or the outskirts of town, just to identify other lots that are in needing of abatement also, and we'll send them letters also. We usually only do it for blank lots, but we're proactive, and if anybody does identify a lot that needs to be weed abated, we ask that you call our office, give us the address, and we'll send them a letter and follow up on that also. So it's kind of, and there's 3 different parts to it also. And then we're also going out and we can also assist with CAL FIRE because they're starting their defensible space inspections, and San Juan Canyon is a big one in that area also. So we'll also go out and put some eyes out on the ground around there also. So the letters will be getting mailed out tomorrow, and we'll be identifying other lots throughout the city limits, even ones where there's houses, where there are residents on there. We'll even identify and send them some letters also. So if there's any questions that I can answer, I'm here for you.
Thank you very much. Do we have public comment?
If you'd like to make a comment on this item, please raise your hand by dialing *9 on your telephone keypad or raising your hand icon. And we have Darlene Boyd. Darlene, we're having you join us. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Darlene. Welcome. You have 3 minutes. Oops. You just muted again.
Sorry.
There you go.
My internet drops out a lot. Anyway, yeah, I'm just curious, with weed abatement, does that also include large trees that are deceased and fire hazards?
You know, if I may answer, Council?
Yes, please.
Go ahead. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, we've worked with code enforcement to help identify some also. So if you have some, I'll go out with code enforcement. We've already identified a couple lots that had some trees that were overhanging that were a real fire hazard that we did have taken care of. So we'll work together to see what we can do to get those hazards abated.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public comments?
Madam Mayor, there are no other public comments.
Thank you very much. Council members, questions, comments, concerns? Council member Edge?
I don't have, last year I had a whole bunch of concerns, but this year it seems like everybody's on top of it. So I don't have any concerns, but thank you, Charlie. Thank you for the report.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Flores?
No comments or concerns. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Friels?
No comments, no concerns. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Freeman?
Nothing right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. One more time, these go out today or tomorrow?
They'll go out tomorrow. It has to get approved tonight. And then after that, the office staff will take care of it and get it all in process, and the letters should be going out tomorrow. So people should be getting their letters probably by the end of this week, right quick. But a lot of people are already starting to do it already, so they know. So it's just a little reminder. And even if you do get a letter and you've already taken care of it, it's just a friendly reminder to maintain it also. So it's not a mean letter. The intent isn't to be mean.
And then we get a final report?
We will. So we'll send these letters out. They have 30 days to abate it. After that, then we'll go ahead and send a contractor out there to take care of it if they don't. And a lot of times the people will say, hey, just have your contractor do it, or they don't do it. And then we'll follow the process up to lien the property up also, but it hasn't gotten to that part yet.
Okay,
and then
thank
we'll
you.
send out the 30 days.
Okay, and can you just give us your phone number so anybody who is listening can jot it down?
Sure. If you have any weed abatement issues or any questions, comments, concerns, you could call the fire department at 636-4325.
On the bottoms of your screen? No, just kidding. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I will now entertain a motion to adopt a resolution declaring the condition of certain properties to constitute a public nuisance and ordering the abatement of weeds thereon and noticing a hearing for the receipt of objections to the proposal for abatement.
So moved.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. Cesar Flores and Scott Friels. May I please have a roll call vote?
This is resolution 2021-18. Mary Edge,
Yes.
Cesar Flores,
Yes.
Scott Friels,
Yes.
Don Freeman,
Yes.
and Leslie Jordan.
Yes.
And that passes unanimously.
Thank you very much. Adoption of resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista amending the master programs funding agreement with San Benito County Council of Governments for the use of Measure G funds. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Measure G was approved by the voters in November 2018, and we began receiving revenues in 2019. We received directly 5% of these funds under Tier 2. The majority of the funds are targeted at improvements on Highway 25. That's a big topic on the COG agendas that Mary attends. We get to use 5% of that money of $13 million annually for our streets. And so we have been doing that. We were one of the first street improvement projects completed with Measure G. We spent $260,000 on 3rd Street. That was a $1.4 million project. So that $200,000 doesn't sound like much, but it sure helps. And at the same time last year, we completed our pavement management plan. And at mid-year, the council agreed to put about $200,000 towards 6 top projects on the pavement management plan. So those are moving forward. This agreement revises and updates the method by which COG will disperse the funds. Initially, this was going to be on a reimbursement basis, but that's complicated and time consuming for both the COG and the local agencies. So we're going to just start dispersing them quarterly now, and then we'll put them in our coffers and track them for our street improvements. So that's an improvement. And as soon as this agreement is approved by the COG and signed, then we should be getting our first installments, which is exciting. We need to replenish our general fund with this Measure G money because we keep spending it on streets. So that's, I think, a rather simple matter. I'm happy to answer any questions that the council or public would like to ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have public comment?
If you'd like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. We have no public comments at this time.
Thank you very much. Council comments. Councilmember Edge.
Thank you, Dawn. And I kind of know about this already, so I don't have any questions or comments, but thank you for the report.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Flores.
No comments. Thank you for the report.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels.
Just pretty much all I have to say is thank Dawn for having a plan into the future for getting our roads done. It's the first time I think we've heard that in a long time. And my mom asked if you could do Fifth Street between Mission and Franklin next year. So, thanks.
Fifth Street, so noted. Okay.
Thank you. Councilmember Freeman.
I really don't have any comments right now. Just, thank you for doing a great job on 3rd Street. Let's keep it up in the rest of the city.
Thank you. Thank you for this, Don. Pave on.
Pave on.
I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista amending the master programs funding agreement with the San Benito County Council of Governments for use of Measure G funds.
I will move as stated that we adopt this resolution.
Thank you very much.
I'll
Do I have a
second that.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Mary Edge and Scott Friels. May I please have a roll call vote?
This is resolution 2021-19. Councilmember Edge,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Friels,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
And that motion carries with a 5-0 vote.
Thank you very much. 5C, adoption of a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista enforcing ordinance 2020-02, which added section 28 to Title V, banning the use of certain plastics and establishing a sustainable food service ware and retail bags ordinance. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. We had adopted a policy last fall, extending the deadline for compliance to December for food service providers, the windmill included, restaurants, food and beverage, to make that transition away from plasticware. And we noted how difficult and challenging that is when all of your food service is to go. So we've been struggling with that, and I believe it was actually Councilmember DeVries had asked for an update last fall. So we've been working closely with the business owners. Our community liaison, Liz is on the line today, and she helped with integrated waste management staff from the county, very supportive, putting a detailed staff report together with lots of great statistics and a new compliance plan for the council to consider. Liz, did you want to present your report? Okay. Liz, can you hear us?
So can you see my screen?
No, but
Can
I
you give
did
me
give you the, yeah.
No, I don't have screen share. There we go. There it is now. Thank you very much. Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council members. I know that this is a big meeting. There's a lot on your plate. I appreciate that. So this is going to be pretty brief, just a summary of what we've done. You do have the full staff report in your packets pertaining to this ordinance. So tonight, I just want to go over what we've done. This has been a long road coming. It started back in May when Councilman DeVries requested that the staff explore ban on single-use plastics, which I know we were all excited about. That was in 2019. So in March 2020 is when the ordinance was drafted, but guess what? COVID-19, a state of emergency was declared. So then April 16th, the ordinance went into effect and we were able to extend a 60-day grace period. We've been working on that and we've been going out. I do have my partners who've been just wonderful, the IWM staff. They really took this and ran with it. We did get one exemption letter that was received. We did make that option. That is part of the ordinance. As you saw stated, we did continue to try to move forward with this, and the resolution came back to council, and you saw to give an additional 107-day grace period. So now that took it to January 1, 2021, where we still have not done anything in as far as enforcement. You know, we've been definitely working towards canvassing and getting the businesses, educating them and helping them as much as possible. So currently we're still working together. Even today, Diane and I went out with, you know, and gave, for Earth Day, we gave different commendations to different businesses that we have locally. So what this means and how this affects us, what it looks like in real time, the retail requirements for this ordinance the retail establishments need to charge 25%, 25 cents per bag per customer. And I'm sure some of you have already experienced some of this. So see these bags right here, they're the flimsy, lightweight ones. And the majority of our stores, well, we'll get into that a little bit more. We're doing really well, all things considered. So these types of bags, the plastic and the canvas, are the ones that are preferred. So reusable cloth, machine washable, and things that are labeled reusable or recyclable. As far as food service is concerned, I'm happy to say we no longer have any businesses that are serving with styrofoam. So that is huge and wonderful. And what we're recommending is the reusable food service ware for dine-in and takeout. And again, I'm going to defer to Selena and Diane if there are more questions regarding this, because they're great at it. So where we are right now to date, 14 of our retail businesses are in compliance. 1 restaurant is in complete compliance, but there's 9 restaurants that are almost there. Let's put it that way. They're almost in compliance. 5 of our retail businesses, they're not using plastic. They're reusing the heavier plastic bags, but they're not purchasing any bags and they're not charging the 25%. So according to the ordinance, that is not considered being in compliance. So currently we're still working overall, and this number 30 is incorporating these numbers here. So right now, currently, there are 30 businesses that we're still working on it. And then we just got another exemption letter today. So that's 2 businesses that are applying for exemption, and actually one the city manager has already approved. So all in all, I have to thank, and we need to thank as a city, we need to thank Integrated Waste Management, the regional agency, Selena Stotler, who's on the line, and Jan Dinocio, and a whole team. They had a whole team that was out canvassing and talking, and we've made appointments with all of our businesses to help them comply and to answer questions. I believe that, that is going to continue through this month. So all in all, the happy part of this is that we do have several green businesses. And even today, as I mentioned, we gave out some thank yous to some of our green businesses currently. So I don't know how to put it. I feel like we're almost there. I know overall that the businesses are excited to be a green business and they do want to comply. I haven't heard anybody that says, no, this is dumb. I don't like this. I don't want to do it. So they all are, just so you know, as you're making your decision, they are all working towards it. I believe that wholeheartedly. So myself and Gian and Selena are available for any questions. And I do believe there might be some questions from the public as well. So thank you.
Thanks, Liz. That was great, Liz. That was great. Thank you. So the action in the resolution is requesting an extension to June 30th because as most of us are aware, the state is looking at reopening the economy June 15th. And hopefully after June 15th, things will stop changing all the time and we'll get back to whatever the new norm is. So that's how I came up with that date. And it made sense in terms of the state and their guidance. So I just wanted to leave that open for debate. If the council wants to talk about that subject, I'm happy to. Furthermore, the one business that complied December 31st, it's a 12-month exemption. And it seemed like only fair that we extend their exemption to this new term as well, so that they're not subject to regulations that none of the other businesses are. After all, they complied and they should be given a break. So that's the nature of the resolution, so that the council's clear on what we're proposing to do. All right, Mayor, thank you. Thank you, Liz. And if Selena and her team want to say anything, that would be great.
Selena or Jan, if you'd like to say anything, now's your chance.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, my name's Selena Stotler. I'm a staff analyst with the Integrated Waste Management Division through San Benito County. Jeanne, who's I believe also on the line, we're your regional agency staff for all waste and recycling state reporting, as well as program and contract management. And so, yeah, we have been helping the city for the past 2 years with the ordinance and outreach, and it's just been such a pleasure to work with city staff and the San Juan Bautista students. So thank you for that opportunity. It's been a great learning experience as well, an opportunity for us as we do intend to present on and support a very similar approach in Hollister in the very near future. And actually, we're having one of our interns presenting to the City Council in May. Thank you guys for leading the way and not only with this ordinance, but in green business as well, and all things sustainable.
Thank you very much, Selena. Anybody else? Jane?
Hi,
Sorry.
everyone. My name is Jeanne Dionisio.
Jeanne.
I am the new staff services analyst here at the San Benito County in Integrated Waste Management. And I am very happy to be a part of this project. I was actually in the same class during Dan's time with CSUMB when they had originally adopted this ordinance, but I wasn't in that group. So it's interesting for me to kind of be a part of it now and, try to help as much as I can. And it's a really great, learning experience for me as well, considering that I'm just starting out. So yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of this and future projects with the San Juan Bautista green business programs as well. So thank you for letting us help out and giving us the opportunity to venture with the businesses.
Thank you very much, Jen. Go ahead.
If I could add one more thing, we did give a few different recommendations in a report to the city manager and Liz. One being looking at some, alternative groups for assistance with ordinance compliance, such as Rethink Disposal, or even Environmental Innovations, which is, for those of you who know Brooke Wright, she's our contracted staff to help with program management for the Green Business Program. So it's definitely something that they can provide additional assistance to the city as well. And we're happy to help explore those options.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment?
We have Jared G. And Jared, I'm going to have you come on into the meeting. If you'll please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Welcome, Jared. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, everyone. Can I be heard well?
Yes.
Wonderful. I have come on to speak as an individual who opened a business during this influctuation of the ordinance and put forth my best effort to get there as far as combustibles. And I believe that I'm about 95% of the way there. I did this by a means of adding a surtax to my guest check of 5%. There is some logistical things that we're still working through on how to move that to just to go orders. So the in-room diners or in-restaurant diners don't absorb that fee as well. A couple of things I wanted to point out that I think are relevant. One is that there is still massive supply chain issues with compostables, and the price fluctuation of those compostables in the current market is fluctuating about 50%. So I order mine from the East Coast. My return on my order is roughly about 60%. So I get about 60% of my order at every rate. And my initial startup cost of combustibles were north of $6,000. I do have a very big to-go business and a platform that leads to it. So as we continue to contemplate opening up the economy, I think that it's absolutely fantastic to hear that there is an understanding that, we need to wait until that happens, and then a couple of weeks after that for it to actually take effect. So hopefully these things will be rectified. From what I've heard, there's 100% support of doing this. It's the right thing to do. I think the support between Recology, Liz, the city, its residents are all keeping the businesses from trying to find loopholes in it. So my personal feeling on it is that my business and other businesses in the area are getting the support that we need. The only thing that I might recommend is if we choose to move forward and other businesses choose to adapt my philosophy of moving that cost over, there could be some assistance in aligning how we represent that to our customers on their bill, much like you'd see in Santa Clara or many other places that state inconsistency, living wage ordinance, tax. The city might look at some support on some verbiage if other businesses are interested in doing that. Because the one thing that we are always challenged with is just stagnant menu pricing and sticker shock on the internet for a $20 hamburger, right? So when our posted price on the menu absorbs all of the excess cost, it tends to scare people away. So most restaurant owners like to hide it on the bill later because it drives internet sales. So just a few things to keep in mind as we move forward down this road. Hopefully some grants can come in to help other businesses with the startup costs. The last really interesting thing is that available storage space for all the different types of containers and ordering at quantity is where we save money. The price can fluctuate almost 40% if we buy 4 to 5 cases versus 1 and 2. So the ordinance does affect smaller businesses that don't have the ability to order at scale more than the larger businesses, say a place, Harlene's, that moves a ton of volume. So just a couple of perspectives to keep in mind as we continue our business making. Thank you all for the support. You guys are awesome.
All right, our next comment is from Fran Fitzharris. Fran, we're going to have you join us, and please unmute yourself.
Thanks, Jared. Welcome, Fran.
Good evening, everybody. I'm just going to give a nice fist bump to my buddy Jared. That was all great stuff. I appreciate all of his points, and I totally agree 100%. I wanted to add that, and we've heard this over and over again, as businesses, we all totally want to comply and we want to do this. It's the right direction. I think what we're all concerned about is that we're talking about this right now when we're still in the middle of a pandemic. And it is going to be slow moving for a lot of the reasons that Jared mentioned. And also, just looking at current inventory that we have and shipping challenges. There's a lot of things, but I think the biggest one is going to be just cost. I'll speak for me personally. I know I had a conversation with Selena and just trying to figure out where Brewery 25 kind of fit in the categories for us. But, I was just thinking like, well, if we can get more help, as Jared mentioned, on doing group orders from our green business representatives, maybe there's, as Jared mentioned, grant money, but that's really the issue for us is the cost. I can't pay for things like my chamber membership. I am having to put invoices and things in slow row and not pay on time, which has never happened. As a business owner, I hate it. It keeps me up at night. I hate not paying my bills on time. And so I know that I'm just a small example of what all the other businesses are doing. And some of it too is more education and just understanding, like, how could you charge the 25 cents for the bag in your POS system? So there still needs to be a lot of conversations. And that's all I'm asking is for us to have some time and to insert a lot more education. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Fran. Do
And
we have anybody else?
Yes, Madam Mayor, our next speaker is Selena Stotler. Selena, I'm going to let you in the meeting if you will please unmute yourself.
Okay, Selena.
Hi again. I just wanted to add additionally that we are looking into, through integrated waste management and are amending the environmental innovations contract with Green Business, looking into additional rebates that can be offered. So we'll continue to update the city as that progresses. And this could help businesses comply with the ordinance down the road.
Thank you. Thank you for your continued support. Anybody else?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we have Jim Liebold. Jim, I'm going to have you join us if you'll please unmute yourself.
Hi, Jim. Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for the time. Just quickly, I totally support what Fran and Jared are saying. I think what's key here is that many of these businesses, food and beverage and others, have made an investment in non-recyclable goods. I mean, everybody wants to do what's right for the planet. I think everybody's on board, but everyone also probably remembers that during the pandemic, things were difficult to get. It wasn't just toilet paper. It was a lot of different products. So totally agree with extending this to June 30th. The businesses that are just reopening need the time to use up some of the goods that are not necessarily recyclable while still trying to ease into the recycling program. If you think about it, and it was enforced now, I think you'd have a bunch of businesses throwing non-recyclable product into the garbage and going to the landfill, which really isn't going to accomplish what you want. So let them go ahead and use up what they can as they reopen, and then ease into the new program, and everybody will comply. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
That is our last speaker, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for your comments. Council comments. Councilmember Edge.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I understand this correctly. So we are going to extend until June of June 30 of 2022. And they're going to get, it's going to begin July 1st, 2021. I'm not sure. I'm reading it off the resolution.
Sorry, there must have been a typo. Because the intent was June 30, 2021.
Okay, well, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to make sure that we're clear. And if we approve this today or tonight, do we approve it with amending the date?
Correct. On the staff report, I didn't see it, which is part of your packets. Would you like me to read it, or Shauna, do you want to read it, or would you like me to read it?
Are you asking to read the resolution?
I'm asking if you would like to, or if you would like me to, or however, just to clarify, if someone should read it, maybe.
It didn't make sense.
The recommended.
Liz, I would, if you've got some correction that you want to make to the resolution, then you would certainly want to.
Well, I didn't write the resolution. What I did is I have the recommended action from the staff report. Dawn, do you have the actual resolution with the corrected verbiage?
Right, thank you. It gets complicated when two of us are working on the same report at the same time, so I apologize. The compliance deadline of June 30th, 2021 is in section 2 of the resolution, where hereby establishes a compliance deadline of June 30th, 2021 for local businesses and special event participants to comply with ordinance 2002. So that's section 2 of the action items of the resolution. And then, and that would give them a 1-year extension. So if they could not comply by June 30th, 2021, and the city manager approves a 1-year extension, Mary, then they would have till June 2022 to
Okay.
try and come in compliance in that 12 months.
Okay,
So
all right. I wanted to make sure I understood it correctly because that's what I thought it was, but then it was kind of confusing because we had June 30th, 2021, and then at the bottom, we've got the other date.
Selena and Liz are going to work with our business community to try and get as many people in compliance by June 30th, 2021. But if they want an extension, that would be granted for 12 months as the original program outlined. So that's why in the last section 5, that everyone will be in compliance by June 30th, 2022. So they're either going to request an exemption or be in compliance. Everyone should be in compliance. No more exemptions after June 30, 2021.
Okay, and then my other question is, I don't understand how some of the businesses are they're reusing plastics. How are they doing that? I don't understand. Do people bring
Bags.
in their old plastic bags and then they take them home and they reuse them? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I was just curious. Yeah, okay. You answered my questions. Thank you, Dawn.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Flores?
No comments. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Friels?
Thank you. Yeah, we're just a small town and we have this ordinance. I'd be curious how many other cities and counties in California have the same, and how many of those people, how many thousands of businesses are placing the same orders? And we only heard from 2 that's kind of struggling to get these orders in, and it makes sense. Everything was at a standstill, it seemed like, as far as ordering stuff. It seems like we're kind of cutting it a little short. I mean, we're supposed to open for business again, California statewide on the 15th, but I think these businesses are going to have a heck of a time getting by the 30th, getting all the in compliance. Can we just, I mean, if they have the opportunity to apply to stretch it out to June 22nd or June 30th, 2022, why don't we just go that far out and say, after this, you're on your own?
Right. I agree.
It just seems like it's so much more work for the city staff if they got to keep constantly getting letters in and
Right.
Requests to extend and all this stuff. And we've been stretching this thing out for almost a year now. And it makes sense because there's no supply out there. There's not going to be any supply here in June 30th. I mean, who knows how much of those compostables were stuck in that big, ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So why don't we just stretch it out? If we're gonna say it'll be okay to apply or appeal till 2022, why don't we just run it out to then and call it good? That's all I got. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Freeman?
Yes, thank you. I was thinking a similar thing. I know that supply chains are stretched. Anybody who's tried to purchase a piece of lumber in the past couple of months is in for a real shock. And I think I agree with Scott and Mary. I'm not quite sure I want to extend it out a year, but maybe till January 1 of 2022. And that would give the businesses 6.5, 7 months to hopefully find a supply chain that's sustainable, economical, and reliable, because that's what businesses always look for. And maybe the food service companies that provide these products can get their acts together by that time. I hope so. I think we need a little guidance from somebody who knows kind of what's happening in the food service industry. That would be, someone in the industry like Jared or Fran. Anyway, but I agree, stretching it out is a good idea. I would say till January 1 of 2022.
Thank you very much. So if we extend it out to January or June, Liz, can you please tell me how many have, or Don, how many have requested an extension already? Refresh my
Two.
memory. Just
Two,
two.
one we're coming.
Only two. And the reason being, and I'll be honest, Mayor, most of them are really close and they want to do it right. You know, they've had the option to extend and they've been using that as a very last resort because they want to do it right. So the intention is there.
So the over 30 businesses that are not in compliance could potentially, except for two, could potentially be in compliance by June 30th, 2021?
Hopeful. What would you say, Selena? And Jan?
Well, and I ask this question because some council members have said, let's just push it out for everybody. But if we're that close.
If I may say something?
Go ahead.
So looking at the retail businesses, from the data that I've seen from Jan and Liz's outreach, it seems many businesses would be in compliance simply if they charged the 25 cents for, so again, someone recommended providing that extra training. Maybe we need a webinar or on-site, technical assistance for that. So I think many businesses in retail could be in compliance simply by just charging 25 cents for the bag. Some are hesitant because they, fear of what customers might say, losing business. But there's a lot of benefit to doing this 25 cents charge because it encourages, motivates people to bring their own bag. Then looking at restaurants, I think that one is more as some of these businesses have stated earlier. I think that the supply is a challenge. As well as just generally cost, because when you want to, if you're looking at switching in your dine-in ware to reusable, some businesses aren't even offering a reusable dine-in option or having dine-in at all. So, and then you've got, that large kind of upfront cost to switch everything out, which ends up saving businesses money down the road, but it is an initial big cost in the beginning. So that's where I think these rebates that we might be able to offer into next fiscal year could really help some of the businesses. So I think allowing businesses simply applying for an exemption, allowing them that extra year, and then definitely having compliance by either January 1st or June 30th in 2022 makes sense. Giving them a little bit more time.
Thank you very much. Okay, I will now entertain a motion.
I have a couple more questions with that last little bit.
Go ahead. Sorry, Scott, go ahead.
No worries. So dine-in, we're talking about people who go to a restaurant, sit down and eat in the restaurant. So are we saying that there are some restaurants in town that don't use like rewashable plates and cups and stuff? What are they using?
Unfortunately, that has been happening. Because some staff wise, and then there's been some that didn't have the right equipment, like the professional dishwashers that heat things, especially businesses that just recently became a restaurant, if you know what I mean. Some of the bars that had to go in that had to do that. So thank goodness we're now in the orange. So there's just a lot of factors.
Okay, that makes sense since we did the 25 cents per bag. I wasn't part of the whole original this whole original process. Where does the 25 cents go?
Back. Go ahead, Selena.
Yeah, that can go to buying the bags, the more recycled bags. So one of the ordinance requirements is to have a certain percentage of recycled content in the bags, and sometimes those could be slightly more than the regular single-use plastic bags. That could help a business to offset that cost. And then it's also a disincentive for customers so that they bring their own bag instead of getting charged the 25 cents. And I believe, Dawn, and maybe you can share, but I think their businesses are required to put that on their receipt per the ordinance.
Right, it's subject to audit. We're allowed to go and look and make sure that they're doing that.
So these reusable bags, how much does one cost? I mean, does it cost 25 cents for a so-called compostable bag or renewable bag?
A paper bag? I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but I think they could range anywhere between 7 to 35 cents.
Okay, so they can buy a couple extras. And as far as incentives, you know how many times I forgot a bag and had to buy one? It's like, I'm not gonna go leave everything on the counter and drive home and go get a bag.
Yeah.
So people pay the 25 cents. I don't think that really is much. I would be in favor of going to the first of the year and helping these folks out, because I could just see, and I know which business or which restaurant does add, and I notice they do add a little bit extra on their thing just so they can purchase these products, and I'm sure they're a little more expensive. And with more and more communities pushing these ordinances, supply and demand, the prices are going to go up. And John's right on as far as lumber, prices, it's the same kind of world. A sheet of plywood, 65 bucks now. So, it's happening. So yeah, I hate to. So I just need to clarify one more thing. We have 30 businesses and 28 of those 30 businesses are almost in compliance. Is that correct?
No.
No, we've got, let's see, let me share it. Let's see, can I share this again? Share screen. So this is where we're at. If you can look, oops. Sorry, there you go. So we have 9 restaurants that are almost in compliance. And so they're on different parts of that spectrum of, and then 5 of the retail businesses that are not in compliance because they're not charging the 25 cents. So that makes it altogether 30 businesses that are not in compliance. Aside from the ones.
You have 14 that are in compliance, 1 restaurant. So 9, 5. I don't see how. I'm sorry. I'm not seeing the math here. So how many businesses do we have total, as far as retail businesses that have to use this, have to follow this?
Total. I'll have to go look at our.
I can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Let's see. Selena or Jeanne, can you pull up your spreadsheet?
Yeah, I have it up right now.
Thank you.
I think the reason we just used there's over 30 businesses not in compliance is because we were unsure about several businesses still being open after the pandemic, or they were shut down and we couldn't get a hold of them. So I think that's why we kind of use this general 30 businesses, not over 30 businesses not in compliance.
There could be more, and but I don't think it's much more.
Yeah,
So
I don't think so either.
So we have 30 businesses that you couldn't get a hold of, and we're assuming they're not in compliance?
No, there's 30 businesses, some of which we haven't been able to get a hold of, and some of which we have and are not in compliance because they're not meeting certain measures.
So included in this 30, the ones that are not in compliance over here, those are included in this number, in the 30.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, once again, I suggest pushing this out and hitting everybody with a good campaign on, this is the final. And after that, I don't know what we do if there's fines or fees, or if we make them charge another 30 cents per bag. I don't know what the deal is, but yeah, well, thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Councilmember Edge?
I just wanted, I wanted to make a point, and God forbid, where California is doing really well, but there are some states where their numbers are going up. And I just don't want to see us go there, but there is an unknown. And because there is this unknown, I feel that we need to give these businesses more time. You know, I don't have a problem with January 2022, but I would say June 30, 2022.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments?
Yeah, I'd like to comment.
Go ahead.
The businesses that are not in compliance because they are not charging the 25 cents, that seems to me a rather easy fix that could be done. I know cash registers are computerized these days and it's complicated, but that's not a fix that takes 6 months. That's a fix that takes a week or two. And those could get into compliance shortly. The ones I'm worried about is, you know, the restaurants who are ordering the clamshell compostable takeout holders, and you know, I'm from what I'm hearing from the various people who've spoken, that they're hard to get to begin with, a little bit more expensive, or maybe a lot more expensive. I'm not certain. And those are the people, in my opinion, who need the extra time. You know, so I don't want to make it complicated, and if you do everything separately, it gets more complicated. But really, the retail businesses who are not charging 25 cents, that's something that can change in a couple of weeks. That's not a overcomable problem. You know, the other ones, you know, they do need time. I'm not quite certain how I want to attack it, but that's how I feel.
Thank you. Okay, I will now entertain a motion to adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista enforcing Ordinance 2020-02, which added Section 28 to Title V, banning the use of certain plastics and establishing a sustainable food serviceware and retail bags ordinance. This is as written, so if somebody wants to make a motion to amend.
I'll make a motion that we take the ordinance and amend it to give the city manager discretion on moving time out to January 1st of 2022 for supply chain issues or something like that.
I second that motion.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Cesar. Okay, so I'm going to give this a whirl to adopt a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista enforcing Ordinance 2020-02, which added Section 28 to Title V, banning the use of certain plastics and establishing a sustainable food serviceware and retail bag ordinance, and amending it to delete Section 2 and Section 4 and change compliance dates to January 1st, 2022.
I don't think you have to remove them. Did you just change the dates on those?
No. Because it talks about fines.
So, Madam Mayor, I think what you want to do is maybe leave Section 2 and change the date from June 30th, 2021 to January 1st, 2022.
Okay.
And then you want to change section 4. So instead of July 1st, 2021, it'd be January 2, 2022, and then get rid of section 5.
Yes.
Exemptions, get rid of exemptions altogether, I think, right?
Right.
Right, get rid of
Okay.
this section
Yeah.
5.
Okay, keeping sections 1, 2, 3, and 4, and changing the date for section 2
And
to be January 1st, 2022, and section 4, change that date to January 2, 2022. May I have a roll call vote, please?
This is resolution 2021-20. Councilmember Edge,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Friels,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
That motion passes with a 5-0.
Thank you very much. I hope somebody got all those notes.
Thanks for bringing that up, Scott.
Thanks for all of the comments from the community on that one. Thank you, Liz, for the presentation. Thanks, Don. Okay, approve the 5D. Approve the purchase of a portable backup generator in the amount of $52,693.88 for the city-operated public facilities. City manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Quickly, as the council is aware, we have 3 wells and 3 lift stations that are not equipped with emergency generators. We had accepted a donation of a large emergency generator so that we would have something there in case of emergency, but it is not legal. Its diesel fumes do not meet the current emission standards. And so we've fortunately been able to not use it and not rely on it. And we did budget this year $82,000 to buy a portable generator that we could move from some lift station to lift station if necessary, or from well to well. In the meantime, we also budgeted the installation of transfer switches in well 5 and well 1, and we're moving forward with that. So Nick and his team, working with our city engineer Julie, especially Nick and Paul Champion, put together a good set of specs as indicated in the staff report, and concluded that a 70 kVA 3-phase diesel generator would be the best for this purpose, and then price it out with a local company in Gilroy, coming in under $53,000, substantially less than some of the other costs. So I think they did a great job of shopping this in informal bids, and we're ready to award the contract tonight. And Nick is on the line if there are any super technical questions that he might be good at. All right, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment?
If you'd like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. And I believe we have one comment. Jim Leopold, I'm going to let you in. If you'll please unmute yourself.
Thank you. Welcome, Jim.
Thanks. Just a couple of questions. So this is a portable generator and it's designed to be moved around. Sorry for the feedback. I assume that means it has a belly tank in it. So a couple of questions is, what's the fuel capacity? What's the anticipated runtime? And what is being provided for secondary containment for it when it has to be moved around? Thank you.
Thank you.
So in the staff report, the specifications are provided, and you can see the black stripe. I'm looking at, I think, the 3rd page of the quote, 4th page of the quote. So as Mr. Linvold mentions, it does sit on top of its fuel tank. I'm just looking quickly for the capacity. Full load acceptance, sound attenuation, internal fuel tank with direct reading fuel gauge. I'm going to say that's 100 gallons, but I'm not sure. Spill containment is handled through the design. It's called a bundled design, protects environment by capturing up to 128% of engine fluids. So it does come included with spill containment. I'm not finding off the top of my head how long that tank will allow it to run. So if there are other people who, let's see, it depends on the load, of course. So at a quarter load, it looks like a gallons per hour is about 1.7 gallons per hour. At full load, it's 4.4. It's going to use 4.4 gallons per hour. It is a 100-gallon tank. Maximum fuel flow per hour is 16 gallons. So I'd have to do the math. And it depends on the load, but close to 10 hours of life, depending on the load. I'll just summarize that way.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for the question.
Madam Mayor, there are no other public comments at this time.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments, or concerns from the council? Councilmember Edge?
Yeah, so this generator comes with the trailer that is on, I forget, I don't know, the pages aren't numbered really, but where it talks about the sizes of the trailer, and there's a coupler options. Does it come with all three of those options? Which option does it come with?
I think you choose one of those options, or you stock more than one, depending on the kind of truck you have.
Okay, so then you would pick one of those
Right.
three.
Those are just options. In case the equipment you have is a 2-inch, you know that it fits a 2-inch, or the 2.5. So that's just the options. That's like flexibility. That's like, it's
And
just
then
showing you that it's flexible.
The measurements, it's got DCB. Is that the different sizes that it comes? What size are they going to get?
Right. So the quote is for trailer, let's see, DCA 70SS. And we're getting the 2 5/16 coupler, and the trailer, I don't know, it says, it doesn't specify in the spec. The trailer's, boy. So, I don't know if that's the 170 inches, 169.4 inches, because it's the A, or I'm not certain on that.
Okay, I was just curious. I just wanted to make sure it fits right.
Well, they were bid together, and that's why we're buying it from a company that is just going to deliver it ready to roll. So it will come as a package deal on our doorstep, ready to run. We're not buying the trailer and then going out and buying the generator. We're buying a unit.
See, yeah, you're buying it all together. Okay. Thank you.
There is one page that says that the power generator model DCA 70SS fits this trailer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
I didn't write this. I didn't write the specs.
Yep, I got it. Thank you. Vice Mayor Flores?
No comments, thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Friels?
Yeah, I finally get to something I'm excited about in this on this agenda. The bid looks great. Abbott Pro Power is probably a small business, so I think we're going to help them out. And I believe the gentleman who owns it might be a veteran. I'm thinking it. I've known the man for quite some time, but never really got that close to him. And I've taken tons of business to this outfit, and they're reliable. They'll prioritize if something happens to our stuff. So looks good. It's an Isuzu motor. They're pretty much bulletproof. Diesel. It's going to run. It's going to live longer than probably the trailer is, to tell you the truth. So it should be good to go. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Freeman?
I just echo what Scott said recently. I think there's something we've needed for quite some time, and I'm glad to see us moving ahead on the project. It's really been a problem. If something went wrong, it would be a real problem, and it's a solution to that problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the transfer switches, it looks like they're all approved in another line item on the budget.
Yeah, they're a separate CIP. A couple
Okay.
of them have already been designed and are being installed.
Okay,
And this will provide extra money if we wanted to use it for the same purpose. We need to add a transfer switch in Rancho Vista at that lift station as well.
okay.
So that would be another one. Yeah, the city engineer tried to get two for the price of one, and they wouldn't go for it. So
Darn it. Well, thank you to the city engineer and our public works guys. I know Paul and Nick looked high and low for generators that were as new as they possibly could be and be CARB compliant. So this is actually an awesome benefit for this city. Thank you all for this. I'll entertain a motion to approve the purchase of a portable backup generator in the amount of $52,693.88 for the city operated public facilities.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the purchase of the generator as stated.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you very much. Mary Edge first, John Freeman second. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Councilmember Edge,
Yes.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Friels,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
That motion carries with a 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Nick, thank you, Nick, for your hard work, and thank Paul as well.
5E. Well, we're cruising. Adoption of a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista approving allocation of community development block grant funds, CARES Act V2 and V3, estimated to be $231,284 for regional homeless services. City Manager. Can you please unmute? There we go.
No one is exempt from that, I think. Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. We held a town hall meeting on this topic, and Enrique, the Deputy Director of Health and Human Services, was gave a nice presentation despite having computer problems last Tuesday night. He has been hanging in there with us tonight in case the council has more questions about the homeless services that were described and the use of this community development block grant money. I've had some terrific conversations with members of the council, and some of them were looking for better tools, at least reporting tools, better accountability. So I moved this from a consent item to an action item tonight. So that way, if the council members wanted to speak to those concerns, Enrique could respond and we could decide what the best course of action is. And I just wanted to repeat that these are really complicated funds to use. We could use them for other eligible uses, handicap accessibility, senior citizens, other low income purposes. But we'd be on our own. We'd have to establish our own administrative capacity to run the community development block grant, to complete the single audit, part of the Single Audit Act, to do the competitive federal bidding process, et cetera. So it's very complicated, and the grant writer that I talked to thought that this was by far the best thing to do with this money, because the application day is May 7th. And there's a lot, there would be an incredible hill to climb to get to that application day. And then we would need only 2 years to use the money. The clincher for me was reading through the FAQs for the use of the CARES Act and CDBG together. We couldn't just go and build a parking lot or something like that. It has to be directly, it has to help someone, an individual, maybe a business owner who's directly impacted by COVID and can benefit from the program. So we've had a number of grant programs and other opportunities. So still, I'm sticking to the recommendation that I came away with last Tuesday, and that's to go ahead and partner with Hollister and partner with the county and be part of this $1 million super homeless program. But pay attention and have Enrique come back for some reports to the council and let us know how we're doing, especially in hiring an outreach coordinator that would be visiting our town, and maybe we could introduce that person to the city council and share some thoughts and ideas with them when they come on board. So with that, Mayor, Enrique is online, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. Do we have public comment on this?
If you'd like to make a public comment on this item, please raise your hand, dial *9 on your telephone keypad now. There are no public comments.
Thank you very much.
Yes, this is the stuff I left you for.
Yes, I know it is.
Whoever is speaking, can you please mute yourself? Thank you. Councilmember Edge. Questions, comments, concerns?
Yes, I have a concern. I think this is a lot of money that we are just handing over to the homeless. I'm sure we have had several businesses that were impacted by the COVID. We should have some way of using this money and keeping it here ourselves. And I kind of wonder, what's the population of homelessness that we have here? And in the past, I'd like to say that I have encountered homeless, and I have, it usually is on a weekend or a holiday or something like that. And I have been able to be helped with the homeless, and I end up pulling money with friends, neighbors, and we get the people on the road, get them where they're going. In the past, I've had a pregnant woman that was not from this county. So I ended up, we had vouchers for her from the county, but in the meantime, it was Thanksgiving, and we had to pull our money through the church and people that felt sorry for her, and we put her up at Posada Inn, reaching in our own pockets. And I still don't, I've never had any kind of help from the homeless foundation to help out with getting people off the street. Just recently, there was someone else that was a homeless person, and a group of women pitched in, and they got him a place to go, and he's on his own now. He's got a job. But what I'm trying to say is that this $200,000 is too much to just hand over. We, the city, can use it ourselves. And so I'm sorry, I do not agree with this. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Flores.
I hear what Mary Edge is saying. However, I see a lot of obstacles here. I mean, we don't have the administrative staff to handle a project like this and put it into motion within a 2-year period. The application has to be May 7th. I don't think we have the resources to do that. And that's my basic thing. That's it.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Friels.
I have a question for the city manager. So Donna, we've already received this $231,000. Is that correct?
Oh, that's the point of making the application. And you make the application, then you have to exercise and execute an agreement. Then you'd have to go through the NEPA environmental process. And then you'd have to have community meetings and plans to specifically outline the budget for the use of the funds. So that's, it would take several months just to get to that point. I agree that CDBG is going to be a good tool for us. And the grant writer was looking at a June 2022 project to help our water program. But that gives you an idea. She's looking out 18 months instead of 18 weeks. So this money is not sitting in the bank. We have to execute an agreement, and then we have to seek reimbursement. As I recall, there is something called an expense summary payment request that we would have to make an ESPR, and if they approve your receipts, then you get paid. So that's why it's administrative heavy, because it all runs on reimbursement and all subject to audit.
So, okay, so this, the $231,000, this is what we are this is what we're talking about giving to the homeless program. So are we fronting this money? Then it's something out of our pocket and then we're hoping to get paid back?
No, we're not fronting it. The county is the lead agency. So the county will submit one application to HCD for 1.15 million. And what we're doing is approving an MOU that gives the county the authority to apply on our behalf.
Okay. And then as far as the county goes, are we going to get some type of, and I think Enrique might have mentioned it, but I mean, he had a lot to say, so I was trying to absorb most of it. Do we have a means to audit, you know, what's going where? I mean, I agree with Mary, it's a lot of money. I mean, are they going to come back to us with reports and say, hey, this is where our money's being spent, this 1.1 million, it's going to be A, B, C, D, and, you know, show us the figures. Is that part of the approval?
It's not specifically outlined in this MOU, and we're the last agency to consider approving it. I don't know if HSS would be open to a side agreement to allow us the ability to at least see what they're sharing with HCD, because HCD is to hold them accountable for every penny. So those reports are public, and we're welcome to look at those.
Who's H? I'm sorry, I'm terrible.
So this CDBG program comes. I'm sorry, too many acronyms.
Yeah.
Sorry. Housing and Community Development administers the federal program for small cities. So instead of being entitled money, city over 50,000 is entitled a chunk of money. They get a chunk of money every year. Usually the small cities, if they want to use block grant money, have to compete for it. And so because of the CARES Act, and that's why it comes with a bunch of CARES Act regulations, the federal government is saying, here's a chunk for San Juan. You don't usually get any of this, but if you want to make application, there's $231,000 there for you. So what we're asking the council to consider is allowing the money to be pooled between the three agencies and used for this regional homeless program.
Okay. I'm kind of seeing it as an act of good faith. I mean, we're going to be dealing with the county and the city of Hollister here pretty soon on subjects that we really need to push through. So if this helps the county and the city of Hollister and us in any way, even if we have our, you know, 1 or 2 homeless people that come through here, if we have a way we can get them help, then I'm for helping out on this subject. Like I said in the town hall, I've had some opportunity to work with the homeless in my career, and it's not a good place to be. If we can help somebody, if we can help one person, I think it's great. So thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Freeman?
Yes, thank you. I do have a few comments. Agreeing with Caesar and Scott, We just don't have the administrative capability to use this money. It's got to be used on a COVID-related activity. It's you know, and it comes with a lot of strings attached. I'm afraid if we don't do what's been suggested and pool it with the Hollister and the county money, we'll just lose it. There's a lot of homelessness in San Bernardino County. I've had several experiences with the homeless where my wife and I have shuttled them over to the homeless center in Hollister. It works well there. They have wraparound services. They do a good job. It's audited. I can show you your report. They have hotel vouchers. They have housing vouchers for people who just need a step up or a helping hand to get back on their feet. And they actually have a homeless center with I believe it's 52 beds. And so San Juan doesn't have the ability to do that. And we do use that facility, you know, and so we need to help pay for it. And so I'm in favor of following the city manager's lead on this project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have the same concerns as Councilmember Edge. This is a whole lot of money, and we have discussed this ad nausea on what to do with it. I've asked several times, Enrique, I'm not sure if you have these numbers or not, but how many folks has the shelter served from the city of San Juan Bautista? Were you able to grab any of those numbers?
I'm sorry, Mayor Leslie, I don't have those numbers. I contacted the shelter. The shelter Community Homeless Solutions is the operator. I rely on their information for those numbers. I don't, but I could tell you that we serve anyone from San Bernardino County, so as long as we have a bed available. And also, just to answer the question on reporting, I'd be more than happy to report to you in whatever fashion you like to report. I could come into on a quarterly basis to these meetings. I could submit a report. I could get copies of the report that we submit to the state. We are audited as well from the state. So we need to ensure that everything is in alignment with every report and every program submitted and every eligibility determination and so forth. So we're more than happy to do what is needed.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we spoke about that the other day. And I think should all of this money go to these services that the city of San Juan Bautista would ask, definitely ask that of you to report back. There is a need for help in San Juan Bautista, and as 4 of our council members have stated, they have all helped our homeless in very significant ways, and more so than what I've seen or heard from the county. Having said that, the administrative process is huge, and it doesn't sound like we can take that on at all. Hang on one second. That we have the resources to do this, and it's a great program. There's definitely a need out there for it, and looking very much forward to having somebody come into San Juan Bautista and go through our population and have conversations with them. That outreach hasn't happened before, or in my recent history on the council. Councilmember Edge.
I have a question for Dawn. when did we find out that we were going to be getting this money? That we could apply for this money?
The state and federal government released a notice of funding availability in NOFA in December, I believe.
And so you say that it takes months, like 18 months to come up with how to designate this money, how to allocate it?
So an entitlement city that does this every year has, just like we have a budget calendar, they have a CDBG calendar. And so they send out a notice to all the nonprofits like Community Homeless Solutions and say, hey, how should we use our federal grant money? And then they all line up and they all come into a big public hearing in April or May. And then the council makes its very hard decisions in these larger cities and says yes to one and no to the other. It might be seniors, it might be at-risk teens, it might be any of the low-income service providers that are out there, not just homeless. And decisions are made and then submitted to HUD, usually in time for the city's budget to be adopted July 1. And then the HUD contracts become available in August and they are signed and executed. And then you need a 6 to 8 week process to complete an environmental checklist. And hopefully that doesn't uncover anything that gets in the way of your project. And then maybe a year after your first notice, you've actually got the ability to seek reimbursement for expenses. So I'm sorry, we're late to the game and I can take account for that. We were talking about different ideas with Enrique. Initially, this project was proposed in January as to be 100% for the shelter. And Enrique has listened to me and our requests for outreach and services directly in our community. And so I want to thank Enrique for his flexibility and consideration of an outreach coordinator and services that could come to our city. So I think it is better than where we started in January. Could we have picked something different in January and done the process differently? Perhaps. It's just not part of our process. So a larger city is going to be geared up and ready to go for this and see it coming. And we just didn't. It was a surprise. It's new because of COVID. And so there we are. That's my response, Mary. That's my thoughts on it.
Okay, I mean, thank you. I just, I don't understand why, we've been offered this amount of money and then we don't even have time to put it together or the administrative support to put it together. So
on Wednesdays, HCD has been holding these brown bag lunches, and I attended one back in January, and they strongly recommended that we partner with a larger organization. So initially, I went to Mark Fontes at the EDC and said, "Hey, Mark, it'd be great if the EDC took on a regional CDBG project," and he said they weren't interested. So that was my first attempt. It failed.
Yeah.
But it was a recommendation that the little guys partner with bigger cities to use the fund.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you, Don. Thank you.
Can I make a quick comment?
Yeah, go ahead, please. Thank you.
The HCD on an annual basis, they do put out a notice of funding availability. Right now, we're the county, we're also completing a proposal to be submitted by the 30th in $1.5 million. San Juan Bautista, as a jurisdiction here, can also pursue these funds annually. So I just wanted to let you know that this is not like a one-time opportunity. There's always other opportunities annually. I also wanted to say that homeless services in this county, as Don said, and especially working with some state federal departments, is quite complicated to some degree with many different steps and processes. But this proposal here is really looking at not only emergency shelter, not only these types of services with shelter and hotel vouchers, but really looking at the individual as a person, assessing their needs. We're going to hire a few case workers to act as case managers, to provide outreach, to do housing navigation outreach, with a whole ultimate goal to get them housed on a permanent basis. So the creation of permanent housing pathways is going to be real important. If we don't tackle this, in a long-term housing outcome type of program, we're not going to solve homelessness in this county. So part of this proposal is really addressing that, and among other activities.
Thank you for that. Okay, I will, are there any other comments, questions, concerns? Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adopt for the adoption of resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista approving allocation of Community Development Block Grant Fund, CARES Act V2 and V3, estimated to be $231,000, $231,284 for regional homelessness services.
So moved.
I will second it.
Thank you. Cesar Flores and John Freeman. May I please have a roll call vote?
This is resolution 2021-21. Councilmember Edge,
No.
Councilmember Flores,
Yes.
Councilmember Friels,
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman,
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
And that motion passes with a 4-1.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Enrique. Do good things.
Thank you. Good night.
Discussion items, update on water and wastewater distribution system enhancements and compliance with Environmental Protection Agency. City Manager.
Hey, thank you. This won't be too long. As you know, water and wastewater are the #1 priority for city staff. Having now survived a homeless priority. And so I'm glad to have the opportunity to reiterate that in February and March, we began the design of both of our water projects, cooperating with San Benito County Water Districts and with our wastewater project. And the scope of work with Stantec is ours to manage, and the Water District is managing bringing water from the West Hills treatment plant to our city. So I was on the phone today with Jeff Catano talking about the environmental documents necessary for the import of water from West Hills. I was on the kickoff project conversation with their design firm HDR, who is well on their way designing the actual path and pipe and pumping system if necessary to get that water to our borders, and what the best route and most cost-effective route would be for that process. So on the other side, we do have a lot of questions to answer, no doubt. But we have recently resolved the route for the wastewater project. We have worked closely not only with our city engineer and the Stantec team, but we've worked closely with Earthbound Farms and True Leaf and Coke Farms to talk about the best route. Because as I think Councilmember Edge and Friels can attest, there are certain times of the month when you don't want that industrial wastewater in our town. And so the idea is maybe we can intercept that water as we leave town. And then the initial description for various routes that Stantec bid on had as many as 14 easements that needed to be bought and designed from private property owners. And that process alone could take longer than the construction of the pipe. So the role of the industrial users with wastewater is critical. And by resolving the route for the wastewater project, we're able to start the NEPA, the National Environmental Protection Act and CEQA review for both projects. So both projects are under design and both environmental processes are under design. And so when we talk about what the best route was, we didn't know what to do with this 18-inch pipe that we put in Rancho Vista. The 2-3 city managers ago was going to run that into more housing on the Manning property. Well, guess what? We're going to use that pipe as proposed now, and we're going to push that water out to Prescott right past Trueleaf. This is their lift station right here. Why should they send it to us if we're going to go past them? And then we're going to go on San Justo Road towards Hollister. Here's the Coke lift station right here. It has earthbound and Coke wastewater. Why should they pump it up past Councilmember Edge's house down First Street? We're going to intercept it, right? So this is what we've been designing. And I'm sorry, I've been slow to bring this information to you. We just came to this conclusion 2 Fridays ago. We have a team meeting every Friday morning at 10:30. So what we've also realized in doing this is that this path couldn't happen because, well, we would need these easements. We need to work with this family, and they are not returning calls, nor are they returning texts. I talked with Anthony Bathello, and he was able to help me to reach this property owner, the Puros, P-U-R-O. Anyway, that's already been a challenge. So if we can keep this on county roads, we don't have to buy any easements, and we're simply replacing the pavement as we go, and it's just going to happen a lot faster. It has to be a force main, and that's the key issue right now. The water table out here is very high. 3 to 4 feet down, you can find the water table. And they actually, the operator out there, Lawrence at Coke Farms, was telling me that they actually had to redo this lift station because of the high water table. So we couldn't have a gravity line feeding down to the Coke lift station. Instead, we're going to have a pressure main. So these 2 lift stations will have to be redesigned so that their pressure is stronger than ours, so they can enter our line as we send it to Hollister. So this is great news. This is a great accomplishment, and I wanted to assure the council that this is a breakthrough and that it helps us move our project forward. Therefore, on the wastewater project, the only issue we're having is over here in Hollister. So this is Highway 156, and Mitchell Road is here, and here's Friedas coming in from San Juan Bautista. So here comes our pipe, and we couldn't figure out if Mitchell Road continued to be a county road or not. And if not, then we're going to have to buy an easement and negotiate here from this property owner to try and get our wastewater line into the Hollister treatment plant. But with that, if we go under Highway 156, the Caltrans permits are already being prepared, then we'll be able to terminate into the one connection into Hollister. So as some of us have heard, like in the Intergovernmental Committee, the City of Hollister Mayor and council member on the Intergovernmental Committee are in full support of working with us. And so I have a half drafted MOU that I need to finish up hopefully this week and get it to this Brett Miller, the city manager, so we can sit down with their committee, council members Freeman and Mayor Jordan and I can sit down with their committee and talk about what the expenses are and what the treatment standards are for them to accept our water. So in the meantime, we're quite fortunate that Carl Bajarki no longer wants to be an acting public works director for Gilroy. And in fact, I think they actually hired a new public works director. So he came back about 10 days ago, and he is working. He has all 3 of the 20-year-old agreements with our 3 industrial users, and we are now putting in a new flow meter. The flow meter from Coke Farms was broken, and we're going to have exact data on the amount of water that we're receiving and the quality of water that we're receiving. We're going to first ask, are our industrial users in compliance with these 20-year-old agreements? And we'll work from there. So we got to have that data. So we need them to be participants because we're going to save them from having a mile of pipe of wastewater in it coming into the city. So that's going to be good news. It's going to be, they're going to have to upgrade their pump station. So that may not be so good news. Anyway, there's lots of give and take to be had with our industrial users. And we're working as hard and as fast as we can right now to pull the facts together before we meet with them. One thing I've learned working with growers in particular, we can't waste their time. We need to have our ducks in a row when we talk to them. So that is the status of our 2 water projects moving forward. We look towards the end of summer at having these 30% plans done. when we make the big decisions. But both projects are moving forward. I just need to get with Hollister sooner than later, because that's the key issue right now. So the key issue right now is completing the rate study. So we need to know what Hollister and the city can negotiate as far as ongoing operational expenses, so we can finish our rate study. And that's what we're going to use to leverage USDA and CDBG funds moving forward. So we'll also know clearly in our minds, which isn't clear now, what portion of our wastewater treatment system is actually industrial. They're sending their domestic wastewater, so I don't want to say like they're sending ugly industrial water. They're sending their toilet water to us. But if that's 30% or 50%, we need to make sure that they're paying an equitable share of that. And I'm not sure that they are right now. The amounts charged to True Leaf for their wastewater has not been amended in a long, long time. So we're going to get a handle on that, and then we'll talk to them and we'll work it out. So that's where we are right now. And I do spend every minute that I'm not writing other staff reports on water as best we can. So with that, if the council has any questions, I'm happy to respond. Whew. Did that report wake you guys up?
Do we have public? Look, everybody's here now. Do we have public comment?
If you'd like to make a public comment, please raise your hand or dial *9 on your telephone keypad now. We have no public comments, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Questions, comments, and concerns from the council. Councilmember Edge?
Don, thank you so much for that report. Last year we had a really hot year, and I don't know, we didn't have that much of the odor coming past or into our home last year. But everything sounds good. Thank you for your hard work, and I'm looking forward to getting all of this resolved.
Thank you very much. Vice Mayor Flores?
No comments except good work, Don. I know it takes a lot of talking and trying to convince people that you got the right idea in mind, but you're doing a great job. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels?
I just want to start with Don by saying you don't have anything to be sorry about as far as, getting to us, that you think it's late getting to us. The strategy using their plumbing and pushing their waste away from us is a fantastic strategy. I'm totally in favor of that. There's no reason for us to take it if we can send it to Hollister. And I'm sure that they can upgrade their pump system. I don't think it's going to cost them way too much. If you look at the amount of trucks that are stacked up out there right now, it's not like they're not making any money right now. So I'm sure they're doing okay. But thank you. Great strategy. Hopefully we can use Freitas Road. It's Freitas Road, not Freitas Road. Just saying that. So,
it's Freitas.
Yeah, Freitas. We don't want any Portuguese pissed off on us. So thank you.
Guitar player, right? Yeah.
Thank you for that, Scott. Councilmember Freeman?
After Scott's comments, I'm not sure that there's much left to say other than it's a great idea to, I think, isolate how much the industrial users add to our system and charge them accordingly. And I don't think that's been done for 20 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Adding a couple of feet of pipe to get it away from San Juan Bautista to Hollister is awesome without having all of those easements along the way. Well done. This is an amazing project, and the sooner we get it moving, the better we as a city are. It's huge. Do we have our permits almost ready?
No,
Industrial permits?
So Part of Stantec's scope is to do the limit studies. So we do the limit studies to see how much sodium and chloride and TDS we can bring in, and very little of anything else besides H2O. And those will begin to establish our industrial pretreatment permit program. So that's that has been. I received that proposal in November. We started work on it, and now we're dusting it off and getting it started again. So Carl is helping me manage both Stantec's efforts and Cypress Water is collecting the data. He's organizing that for me.
Okay. And yeah, the sooner we can get in these in and in conversations with them, the sooner we can start bringing them at the table with us for several reasons, as we have discussed all evening long. Cool, great, awesome. Update on COVID-19 and effects to the San Juan community and San Benito County.
Right. Item 6B and 6C, if you're okay with it, we'll just take them together. I'm afraid
Perfect.
that was Item C asks that we restate the state of emergency and reaffirm. So section 5-33040A, a portion thereof in our state of emergency regulations that I think our city clerk is responsible for. They've worked great. The director shall request the city council to review at least every 21 days until the local emergency is terminated and the need for continuing the local emergency, to proclaim the termination of the local emergency at the earliest possible date. So in an enforcement meeting last Friday with public health on the phone, I asked them point blank, do you think this emergency will end June 15th? And they wouldn't answer me. So I'm going to keep asking that question.
Every day.
Every day. And as we've shared with our business community, enforcing the state's guidance right now and trying to determine a restaurant or a bar could be 50% occupied in the orange area. I've handed out that matrix to the council a couple of times now. It's been modified slightly, that they were more generous on April 15th. So that changed last week, allowing some 100% retail space is okay now with the proper distancing and masks. And then I believe 50% in the restaurants and bars. So we had some confusion with our fire chief and code enforcement officer for a weekend or two. And we've just kind of backed off on it. We've kind of just said, we'll let the business owners take responsibility for themselves. That was the whole premise when it began. You know, the old idea of wear a shirt and wear shoes and wear a mask, and we'll leave it to the business owners to comply and make sure that their customers and their employees are safe. I mean, they're up with Cal OSHA issues if their employees are not safe. So with that being said, I did debrief with the code enforcement officer on Monday morning, and he did not see firsthand. He's working split shifts on Saturday now, which allows him to be there in the afternoons during happy hour. And I understand they were fairly full, but at least they were staying within the confines of their parklet. And in working with Liz, the parklet for Daisy's was never finalized, the permit. So she is working, the owner is working on finalizing that. So we will have, as requested by a community member, HRB member, chair of our planning commission, that we revisit the boundaries and the established boundaries required in our current guidelines. Having said that, we have been in conversation with the property owner of Una Mas, the bar next door, and we hope we have resolution to that issue within a couple weeks. But that's confidential conversations that we're having with them, so I can't say much more about that. But I hope that landlord is able to manage their tenant as the lease expires there April 30th. So if there are any specific questions, I'd be happy to answer them. And I hope that the waters are starting to calm down a little bit around COVID. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much. Public comment?
If you would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand now. Madam Mayor, there are no public comments.
Thank you. Councilmember Edge, questions, comments, concerns?
I don't have any questions or just a complaint that I got from a local community member about the bars, Una Mas and Daisy's. Apparently I guess there's a lot of people gathering on the sidewalk and it's hard for them to get by. So anyway, I was asked if we were doing anything about that, and I just thought I'd mention it here because Dawn, you were talking about that. So, that was brought up to me.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Flores?
No specific comments other than we've been here 3 hours, but that we had a lot of business to take care of. Just looking at overall, I think we're doing a good job. So we can't cover everything, but we're certainly getting the ones that we can. And we've got a good focus from Don on what needs to be done in this town. And I think we should all just support him what he thinks. Anyway, that's my comment. Thank you all.
Thank you. Councilmember Friels, any questions, comments, or concerns on COVID update?
Just curious, are we still in, is it red?
Oh, we were in orange.
We're orange. So it goes purple, red, orange?
Orange, yellow.
Okay.
Our numbers, I believe we've been, our number of positives, our number of cases per 100,000 has increased. Was it 9 a couple days and then 14? And we're trying to keep that below 5, I think. So we can't stay at the orange level much longer if those numbers continue to hover around the 8-9 category.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Freeman?
Thank you. I just agree with Caesar that we're doing a good job. Enforcement is tough on these issues, and I think we're doing pretty much as we can, being a small town. And thank you, Don, and to the code enforcement officers, both city and county. Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. One of the questions that was brought up on the Wednesday morning meetings was somebody at the city council of Hollister, they were talking about writing an ordinance for what to do after COVID, and getting rid of all of the ordinances that were put in because of COVID. Just a big congratulations to the city of San Juan Bautista, Don, our city attorney, and all of us council members. We wrote this all into ordinances already. So when COVID ends, hopefully June 15th, so do all of our ordinances around it. So that will make our June meeting short.
Except for the budget.
Because we won't have to worry about taking away any ordinances for COVID. Yeah, well done. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, or concerns about anything above number 7? Okay, comments, final comments from the city council. Councilmember Edge.
I just want to say that our item that I voted no against, the $231,000. What I'd like is it possible, city manager, to ask for an accountability from the Health and Human Service Agency? Say, for instance, progress reports on once they get that funding. And then ask for services here for us 24/7, because the times that I have had homeless people, it's always been a weekend or a holiday. It's always been after hours. So, if we could keep vouchers at City Hall so that we could at least put them up at La Posada, understand. I just think that we need to have something here. If we're going to be participating and handing over $200,000, then we need to have some sort of services here, so that, we can help people when they're found destitute and they're here in San Juan Bautista. It's just a suggestion.
Maybe we can even be more sophisticated. Maybe we could get into an agreement with La Posada, like a mutual aid agreement, where if something comes up on an emergency basis and they have rooms available, that they could make them available, and we would guarantee to pay them within 30 days or something of that nature.
Yeah, well, that woman that I helped, that was pregnant, there's an actual voucher that they give to the motel. They stay at the Weeby, but if they could give us vouchers like that, that would be numbered, and we would be able to just give it to them and then they get paid.
Yes, I think there's some room for creative ideas there, and a little bit of time to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Right now, I heard some gratitude. Okay.
Huh?
We should do this now, sooner than later.
Yes.
While there's still gratitude.
Vice Mayor Flores, final comment? Please, there you go.
Good night, all.
Councilmember Friels.
Thanks, everybody. This has been a great night. You won't find me this weekend because it's opening weekend of trout season, and I'm going to be at 7,000 feet in Sierras. So, bye.
Nice.
Have fun.
Have a good time.
Councilmember Freeman, final comments?
I have a couple of comments. Sunday morning on 3rd Street, a car got hit by a rock thrown by another person out of a car because the person was who threw the rock said the guy was traveling too slow in front of him, and that person lived in Rancho Vista. So that's getting to the point of assault and battery and endangering people, not only that other person, God help them, but anybody else around. So I'd like to kind of look into some traffic enforcement issues, maybe cameras and red light cameras and all those new technology things that we have that can help us identify that person who literally got away. And the next thing I have real quick is there's 2 new internet service providers coming to town, Etheric Networks. I think most of us know about that already, but they're moving forward on their project, and they'll be broadcasting a signal out to the San Juan Bautista and San Juan Valley. And then Starlink, which is an ISP owned by Elon Musk, will be opening up in the fall, and that's a satellite-based service, but it has speeds up to 200 megabits per second. It's a low Earth satellite, much different than the ones that we use now. So things are improving on that end. Thank you.
Thank you. To piggyback on the rock throwing incident, there was a hit and run on 3rd Street. I don't remember what day it was, Saturday, and no witnesses. Somebody backed out into a car going down 3rd Street at 5 miles an hour, and there's nothing down there. And Don and I have spoken about cameras and license plate readers and RFPs and how to get that started. So there is some movement on that. Big shout out to the Aromas San Juan Tennis Club, Tennis and Pickleball Club. The courts opened on Saturday. We had over 34 people playing pickleball on Saturday and about half of that on Sunday. Huge fun. The excitement on the kids' faces when they went to first day of school, I think we saw that on the pickleball court with all the grown-ups out there for the first time getting together. It was something to see. So thanks for all of the work between the city and the school district and the Pickleball and Tennis Association for getting that taken care of. City manager, final comment.
For your patience tonight. It's one of the biggest agendas I've ever seen. How about you, Sean? Have you seen a bigger agenda? Yeah, oh yeah. Want to be on the board of supervisors, they have 7 and 9 hour meetings. But anyway, thank you. A lot of work, great work tonight. Thank you for all of your support. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, but they get paid for it, Don.
Oh, good point.
City attorney, final comment.
Nothing. Good night, everyone.
Thank you very much. City clerk, final comment.
I'll try and make this as brief as possible because of the time, and I think I'll email this to the council. I wanted to give you a little bit of updates on some of those Brown Act bills that Dawn mentioned earlier tonight. The 3 Brown Act bills that are currently in the assembly right now that will affect how we have our council meetings, how we have the public participate in our council meetings. And some of them have lots of costs and no mandated, they're mandates from the state, but there's no reimbursement process available to us. One, AB 339, which is probably the most difficult one, and the League of California Cities is very much against it. It requires that all meetings of the city council and all of our policy advisory bodies have an opportunity for call in and virtual participation for the public going forward. So it actually amends the current Brown Act and would require a local jurisdiction to make that available when we go back to regular meetings. We'll also have to have these availabilities for the public to participate. It also requires that agenda translations take place. For all of our agendas, we'd have to have those agendas translated into not only Spanish, if that's 50% of our population, but actually as low as 5% of your population. So if we have 5% of our population who speak Portuguese, we would have to translate our agenda with regards to how the public can participate. Yeah, and it's just it's a really big bill. And then it would also require the public agency to hire translators to be readily available, and not just one translator, but multiple translators to be available to serve the public during those meetings. Again, all costs would be borne, currently as written, would be borne by the agency. So it's a biggie, and the league is very much against it, and actually has some letters template letters for cities to send in. So that's AB 339. The next bill is AB 361, which is Robert Rivas's bill. And it's more focused on allowing cities to utilize what we use today with virtual meetings in the event of an emergency. So instead of having to wait for the governor to issue a new executive order, we could just fall on that executive order by having it actually become legislation in the Brown Act. The one thing with that assembly bill that is a little troublesome, there's talk of rewrite. It may take some of the powers away from local jurisdictions to call for an emergency, a local emergency, as we do today. It would actually give that power to counties instead of cities. So that one also is a little troubling. The league is in a kind of stay position with it. And evidently there's a rewrite that was just happened on the 15th. And they're talking about tying these two bills together possibly. So they're both tough. They're both really gonna change the way we do things as local jurisdictions. And then the last one, AB 703, really it's similar in a way, but it offers the council or the legislative body the opportunity to remotely participate without going through all of the rigmarole, if you will, of remote participation. So we wouldn't have to worry about a quorum being present in the jurisdiction. Anyone could do it. We wouldn't have to worry about, having that agenda posted necessarily at whatever remote participation location they are at or you are at. So that one, the league is kind of just in a wait position right now, not sure how it's going to go forward. All of these are they're currently just in the assembly right now, but they made it by that February date. So we're keeping track of them, and we definitely know something's going to come of this. What we do today with virtual meetings, we're just hoping that the burden isn't only going to be carried by local jurisdictions. Instead of mandating, maybe it's an opportunity to do that if that's what the city prefers to do. So in a nutshell, that's those bills that we're keeping a real close eye on, and Dawn sees these emails as well through the league. And I'll send out some information to you all. That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you very much. Do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
Everybody have a good night.
Thank you. Hang on, we need a roll call vote.
Oh.
We need a roll call vote. Yeah, you're not getting out that easy. Can I have a roll call vote, please, Shauna?
Yes. Councilmember Edge.
Yes.
Councilmember Flores.
Yes.
Councilmember Friels.
Yes.
Councilmember Freeman.
Yes.
Mayor Jordan.
Yes.
That's
okay. Okay.
Thank you all very much.
Now,
Thank you.
good night.
Good night.
Thank you, everybody.
All right.